Kuwait again, too. The Kuwaiti army said in a post on X this morning that its air defenses were responding to hostile missile and drone threats. Here in Nashville, NES is speeding up tree trimming efforts in spite of the many customers' complaints about how they were ripping trees apart. Channel 4's Brendan Tierney reports.
NES leaders say they can't slow down tree trimming right now without risking large outages in the next major storm. At this morning's board meeting, the power company announced they're going to start trimming trees across the city every 3 years instead of the current 4-year cycle. They're also starting to incorporate AI and other data into their systems to help find dangerous trees outside of the normal trimming schedule. But they are scaling back what they cut instead of trimming everything from the ground up to the sky near every power pole.
We're going to do a more horseshoe trim that will keep a 15-foot radial clearance below the lines. So the intent is that we will leave as much vegetation out on the system as possible that does not have a negative impact on our reliability.
Just last week, Metro Council members called for NES to pause its tree trimming program, but CEO Teresa Broyles-Applin and other leaders say that would put them even further behind schedule.
Market numbers now brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com.
Stocks did not veer too far from their records, despite President Trump saying he is not satisfied with an Iran deal so far. The Dow added 182 points. The up and down NASDAQ gained 18. The S&P was nearly even. The price for a barrel of Brent crude fell 5% to $94. A barrel of benchmark U.S. crude fell more than 5% to settle at $88. Companies that rack up big fuel bills rose on hopes that lower oil prices would ease up on their profits. Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings and United Airlines each climbed 6%. On the losing side of Wall Street, Dick's Sporting Goods, which dropped 6%. Analysts pointed to how much profit it got out of each dollar in revenue, which some called weak. The typical CEO compensation package rose nearly 6% in 2025 to over $17 million. The median employee at these companies earned $89,744, a 4.7% increase year over year. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
And stock futures this morning pointing down. We've got Dow futures down 42, NASDAQ futures losing 75, and the S&P futures are minus 8. That's the latest news. Traffic is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. The only spot that's very slow this morning appears to be 65 in both directions in the Rivergate area between Vietnam Veterans Boulevard and Louisville Highway. That's where they're doing some widening work, and they'll start doing blasting in that area today. Blasts take place once a day, they say, between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. during weekdays all through June. Just be aware of that as you head out today. Otherwise, the roads are looking pretty good. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.506 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Joan, I want to make sure that I have this right.
Yes.
So, more shots fired as the ceasefire continues. Is that my headline for today?
Pretty much. That's
okay.
You've got it. Yeah.
I just want to make sure that we're clear.
Yeah.
So, more bombing on our part overnight as a peace deal, they say, is near. So, we're saying now, and Joan, fact check me if I'm wrong here, because I know that there's different versions of the same story. We're saying that the military site that we hit was a threat to our troops, and so we bombed the site. There were, drones that were being launched,
exactly.
and more drones that were supposed to be launched as well. So then Iran hits one of our military bases, or at least tries, and they also attack Kuwait.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. You got it.
I think as ceasefires go, this one's going pretty fiery.
Yeah,
Thank you.
It is pretty fiery.
We say that these were purely defensive in nature, designed to protect the Strait of Hormuz. So bottom line is, I don't know. That cabinet meeting yesterday, I've got a bunch of audio bites and video bites from the cabinet meeting yesterday. But it sounds like we are slowly moving away from whatever peace deal we were supposedly closer to. Donald Trump saying a number of different things, including that he's not in any real hurry to negotiate or finalize a peace deal. We'll get into all of that. We are still producing, of course, everyone knows, massive amounts of oil on our side. We are still getting oil from Venezuela, of course, as well. Our economy, while it is understood that gas prices are high and other challenging economic indicators are out there, our economy is nowhere near as bad as Iran's, which is one of the things that Donald Trump brought up yesterday. So let me play this piece of audio from Donald Trump as he's talking about timelines.
Well, I think we're doing very well. I think they're starting to give us the things that they have to give us. And if they do, that's great. And if they won't, then the man on my left is going to finish them off.
Is there a time frame in your mind?
What?
Is there a time frame in your mind for?
I mean, it happens quickly. The problem is every time I mention a time frame, for instance, I see, we've been doing this for a few months. Vietnam lasted 19 years. Korea lasted 8 years. Afghanistan lasted many years. They were all many, many years, and we're into it for a few months. And I read about you people like you. What's taking so long? But we're in it.
All right. So he, of course, the man on his left was Pete Hegseth. Clearly, Donald Trump is right. By the way, I don't know if anybody has seen this. Some people are fact-checking President Trump on Korea. Trump said Korea lasted 8 years. The actual fighting in Korea. Ask me how I know this. MASH. I watched MASH. So, which was, of course, second day in a row. MASH has come up.
That's right.
So the actual fighting from Korea was 3 years, but the lead up and the aftermath included, it could be said that it lasted 8 years, whatever. But the other thing that the president said is that between Venezuela and Iran, he is proud of our military accomplishments, and allowing more time for negotiations with Iran does just make sense. And when he said the man on my left will finish them off, he was talking about Pete Hegseth. And of course, we know that there's a lot of people, not only within the Trump administration, but also across America, that do want to see us just get it over with already. And I mean, I've said many times, crap or get off the pot. I'm not going as far as to say we need to nuke Iran. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that at some point we do have to realize that they are not negotiating in good faith. The other day, and all these days seem to blend into one, but, the other day, as Iran is negotiating in good faith, and I'm air quoting, they're laying bombs and mines in the Strait of Hormuz. Here's more from President Trump talking about what is next.
We've been very capable. I mean, when you think of it, we took over Venezuela in one day. We have done a similar job, but we said, well, give them a little chance at the request of somebody that we greatly respect from Pakistan, the Field Marshal and the Prime Minister. They've been great. They asked us, would we pause the war for a little while because they'd like to do so. We'll do that. But we had them beat. They're, no better now. We could close that out very quickly. If we can do it in a different way, that'd be good. If we get everything we want, but we could close that out very, very quickly, and we may have to. I don't think so, but we may have to.
One of the things President Trump said is, in one of the previous sound bites, was that he didn't care about the midterms. That was one of the big headlines out there, that Donald Trump does not care about the midterms. One of the things that you've got to realize is that Donald Trump, as he is speaking to the American media, he's also speaking to the Iranians. He's speaking to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard and whoever is running Iran right now, because we really don't know. But he's speaking to them as well, because part of the strategy of the Trump administration is narrative and narrative control. So he's telling them, I can wait as long as you can. That's what he's saying to them. So I don't believe that Donald Trump does not care about the midterms. I just don't. Obviously, the man cares about the midterms because his legacy depends on it. His last 2 years in office depend on the midterms. But he's also telegraphing to Iran that he'll wait as long as he needs to. So there's a number of things that are going on. In that cabinet meeting, I thought that there was a lot of great things that were said. A bit of a warning from the president yesterday on how we may have to take more military action with Iran if the negotiations fail. You heard that in that last audio and video bite. There was a report out of Iran yesterday that a peace deal on the table would allow Iran and Oman to control the Strait of Hormuz. The White House actually came out and said that was complete BS. And anything, by the way, anything that is coming out of the Iranian media or the Iranian government, I think you can pretty much guarantee that it's going to be BS. This is from the Washington Examiner. The Trump administration responded to the emergence of the alleged proposal, saying on social media, this report from Iranian-controlled media is not true, and the memorandum of understanding they released is a complete fabrication. Nobody should believe what Iranian state media is putting out. And then he says, facts matter. During the president's cabinet meeting, Secretary of State Marco Rubio reiterating that exact point.
Mr. President, your preference is told us repeatedly, as always, to negotiate these things and to figure out if you can have agreements. Diplomacy is always the first option. And we continue to work on that through your envoys, Mr. Woodcoff and Kushner and others, the vice president, who've been very involved. And if there's an agreement to be made, we want that to be made. I think there's been some progress and some interest, and we'll see over the next few hours and days whether progress could be made. I just want to remind everybody, Mr. President, you know this well, you have other options available to you if that doesn't work. But the bottom line is that we prefer the negotiated diplomatic route, and we're going to give it every chance to succeed. I know you're giving it every chance to succeed, Mr. President. But here's the bottom line, because I keep getting asked, what is this all about? It's very simple. Iran and these people in charge of Iran can never have a nuclear weapon, and they will never have a nuclear weapon, and they most certainly will not have one as long as you're President of the United States. On that point, it's very clear.
So that is Marco Rubio, and he had a lot of, honestly, great things to say as well. You all know that I'm a big fan of Marco Rubio. You know, we can all be very impatient as a nation. Victory does sometimes take time. And for the president, he is clearly fine with waiting it out. There's a lot of angst probably going on behind the scenes. But there's a number of reasons. why America is impatient. We're going to get into that straight ahead. It is 5:15, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and time to check the roads.
No big problems this morning so far. It's pretty quiet on 24, on 40, and on 65. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. Cloudy skies today, pop-up showers throughout the day.
I'm going to go get you some slippery elm.
High temps around 87. You know what's so funny is you and I and Sam, we had a great conversation right before I went on the air. I had no voice problems whatsoever.
Right.
And now all of a sudden, really, is this going to be how my day starts?
You'll be okay.
You know how my day started today, Joan?
How's that?
Stubbed my toe. And I literally said, is this how my day is going to start? And here we are with my voice at 6, 7, 8 minutes into the show.
Failing.
Failing. It just has to warm up. That's all that has to happen. It's just got to warm up.
Okay.
Anyway, but I will be getting some slippery elm. Thank you very much. I luckily have some in my locker. So why is it that as a nation, we can all be incredibly impatient? Well, number one, consumer confidence is low. Donald Trump's approval ratings are low. Gas prices are high. And this story out this morning, the number of families experiencing food insecurity is on the rise as well. So, you know, there are very real reasons why the American people want this over with. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not going to apologize for saying that if we need to become more militarily driven in trying to find peace in Iran through strength, then that's what we need to do. Bottom line. And again, I'm not going to apologize for that. You know, some people will say, oh, Mandis, you're a warmonger. It's like, I'm not a warmonger. I'm actually a peace through strength kind of a guy. And sometimes you've got to show a lot of strength to get that peace. If that means that we need to take out more military targets, more Iranian military targets, then so be it. Do I want to see some of those 93 million innocent civilians killed in Iran? Of course not. But this does need to get over with, and this does need to get over with pretty quickly. And I understand Donald Trump talking about Vietnam, what it is, 19 years for Vietnam. He said 8 years in Korea, Afghanistan. What did he say? 19, 20 years, whatever it was. What has this been? Like 2.5 months? Is that what it's been? Look that up for me, Sam. I think this whole thing started, was it February 8th? Watch this. Hey, Joan, what day did this whole thing start? Do you remember? Was it February 8th? I think it was February 8th. So I think it's been a couple, 2.5 months. So the president's point is that
February 28th.
That's what I meant, Joan. February 28th. I just missed it too.
Oh, hold on. The conflict may result in regional combat operations, finding ceasefire reached, taking effect on April 8th. Okay, so began February 28th.
So
yeah.
it began on February 28th, and February 20. What is that? Like 2.5 months, something like that. Whatever. I can't do math on the air.
Today is the 28th of May.
Oh, so 3 months.
Yeah.
Okay, so 3 months it's been going on. So the point the president is making is this has only been 3 months. Venezuela and Iran, by the way, 2 military engagements in Iran. Don't forget, we had that first one. So, and we've lost 13 souls. And the president took great pains yesterday to talk about how, you know, we don't want to see any casualties. We are heartbroken for those lives lost and the families impacted, but we've only lost 13. He's very proud of what we have done militarily. But, you know, when you look at Iran's economy, it is a lot worse than ours, obviously. And Donald Trump says that is actually part of our strategy.
It looks like they want to just make a deal. They want to. They have. I don't think they have a choice. They're just going back to the internet because they're getting clobbered. Their economy is in free fall. They have 250% inflation. Their money has no value. Their whole economic system is broken down.
Yeah,
No,
I mean, again, not to belabor the point, but our own economy is having its issues, but Iran most definitely is a lot worse. One of the things that the president is talking about is, and it was taken way out of context by the media when he said, are you concerned, the media asked him, are you concerned with the the economy here in America as you continue to negotiate with Iran, because the high gasoline prices, because of this closure of the Strait of Hormuz, that is impacting our pocketbooks. The president said he cannot take that into account when he is negotiating with Iran, because ultimately he is looking at trying to defang Iran for the next, 15, 20, 30, 50 years, basically forever. Because what the president is trying to do is, number one, obviously no nukes for Iran. That is number one. But number two, and I've explained this ad nauseum, is that he wants Iran to go legit with their oil sales so that they'll realize how much better it is to be legit. You know what I would akin it to, Joan, and this just came to me, so I might be a little off base, but I would akin it to this, where if you've got, some kid who's like 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 years old, and he keeps stealing stuff, and he's going to juvie or whatever, and maybe some time in jail, you say to that kid, look, you go legit and you learn how to be like a welder or go to HVAC school or something like that, and you can make really good money for the rest of your life, and you're legit. You can lead a normal life as opposed to, hiding your crimes and hiding from the cops and all of that. That's what Donald Trump is trying to say to Iran. You go legit. You don't fund terror and you don't pursue a nuclear weapon. You focus on your natural resources. And you can sell oil on the open market and you can make a crap ton of money. That's what Donald Trump is trying to say to Iran. By the way, he keeps talking about the Abraham Accords. I'm not sure how I feel about this whole thing with the Abraham Accords. He's pushing it. Now, you know how Donald Trump works, right? Donald Trump works where, in case you don't know this part of the story, Donald Trump has been talking about asking or forcing these other nations to join the Abraham Accords. We talked about this at great length yesterday. Well, here's the thing, is that Donald Trump yesterday said, and I'm going to play the audio coming up, but Donald Trump basically said, maybe we don't make this deal if these other Middle Eastern countries don't sign on to the Abraham Accords. Now, I don't think that Donald Trump actually means that. I think that he is trying to expand what has ultimately been one of his greatest accomplishments of his first term is the Abraham Accords. You've got Bahrain, United Arab Emirates, Morocco, I'm missing one, that signed on to the Abraham Accords, normalizing relations with Israel. A great thing, and Donald Trump wants to expand that. Now, again, he is swinging for the fences. He says these things, whether or not he really means that he is going to walk away from a deal with Iran if Iran and Saudi Arabia and I think some of these other nations, I don't remember which ones, but if they don't sign on to the Abraham Accords, he's going to walk away from the Iranian deal. I don't believe that he means that because he's working really hard on this deal with Iran. But what did the president actually say? I've got that part of the story coming up, 5:23. Joan's got the news coming up at 5:30. Joan.
Yeah, just ahead here, NES says it's made significant changes since that big ice storm. We'll tell you what changes they have made. It's coming up at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
528, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends, and hope you are doing well. It is Thursday, May 28th, and hope you're doing well. Do you know what so this is really interesting, Joan. I may not have seen, as I was driving in this morning, but there is a very strong possibility that as I was driving in, a black cat crossed my path. Because as I'm getting ready to get back on the air, because I just had to go and get some of this throat coat because my voice was giving out in the first segment.
Yeah.
As the bumper music is playing, a sneeze comes up. And it's like, really, this is. I stubbed my toe first thing this morning. Then my voice goes out, and now I'm like fighting off a sneeze on the radio. So anyway, whatever. But it's going to be fine. There is a lot more that we have to talk about regarding Iran. There's a lot of other stories that I'm going to talk about as well, including coming up, Jill Biden.
Oh, my gosh. This story.
I cannot wait to talk about Jill Biden. We're probably going to do that coming up in the next segment. Also in the next segment, we will talk about, very briefly, the Abraham Accords and what is going on with with the ceasefire, as more shots fired as the ceasefire does continue and the negotiations, I guess they're continuing. It is 5:30, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It's 5:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Hot and cloudy today. We'll have cloudy skies this morning. Watch for some showers that may erupt throughout the day, and our high temperatures around 87 degrees. In the news, it's been 100 days since Nashville's deadly ice storm began, and NES is announcing some changes to how it does business. CEO Teresa Broyles-Applin saying the phone system can now handle 1,000 calls at a time. They have updated the restoration time system, and they've also increased the tree trimming budget.
This recovery work is not about responding to a single isolated event. It's more about building a strong operating model for a much more demanding storm environment. We're not seeing storms taper off at all. They're coming at us even more strongly than in the past.
As for rate increases, NES is considering a 4.5% increase in the fall of next year. Alabama has asked the Supreme Court to allow its newly designed congressional map to be implemented. On Tuesday, a 3-judge panel ruled that the state cannot use that map despite it having been approved in 2023. With it, Democrats would likely have 1 House seat. Republicans would have 6. The Justice Department has launched a criminal investigation into E. Jean Carroll. She's that former magazine columnist who accused President Trump of sexual assault. Alex Mullen is ABC's Justice Department reporter.
It's unclear what precedent there is for the Justice Department getting involved in a civil deposition that does not relate in any way to a statement that's related to federal law enforcement. Again, the Justice Department was in no way at any point involved in this lawsuit that was brought by E. Jean Carroll until President Trump sought to have the case dismissed.
President Trump has asked the Supreme Court to overturn a $5 million judgment in that case. That is the latest news. Stick around for traffic next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Got some widening work on 65 both directions between Vietnam Veterans Boulevard and Louisville Highway in the River Gate area. Be careful in that spot today. It's going to be touch and go there. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.536, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. As far as your weather goes for today, looks like we've got, let's see here. Joan, you're going to have to help me out on this.
Yeah.
Weather today is going to be cloudy skies, some pop-up showers throughout the day, high temps around 87.
You got it.
All right, very good. Real quick, so here's where we are going to go. Number one, going to wrap up the conversation about Trump demanding the Abraham Accords be expanded if there's going to be a deal with Iran. So we are going to talk about that. Going to talk about Jill Biden and what she is saying about her feelings when she saw Joe Biden's debate performance. I can't believe it. And maybe some other things, including... Joan, I'm going to ask you and Sam if you have ever actually successfully flown a kite. And I'm going to tell you why coming up next. All right, so the Abraham Accords and Donald Trump need some audio, if I could, and some video. This was during the big cabinet meeting yesterday with Donald Trump. Controversially, the president saying, yeah, you know what, maybe I don't even sign this deal with Iran unless all of these other Middle Eastern countries sign on to, as we try to expand the Abraham Accords.
No, I would like to have the countries we were talking about, with Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, and the others, we would like to have them immediately join and Steve Witkoff is working on that with Jared and some others, but would like to have them join the Abraham Accords. It'll be historic if they do it. And I think they owe that to us, to be honest. I think, because that really would be a tremendous sign. And I think those countries owe it to us. Steve, are you going to get them to sign?
We're definitely pushing it, Mr. President.
Steve's like, highly doubtful, Mr. President, but we're going to give it a go.
I'm not sure we should make the deal if they don't sign. You want to know the truth? If they don't sign to join the Abraham Accords, I don't know that we have countries in there already. UAE, great countries, bold countries, and it's turned out to be so good, so effective.
All right, so that is Donald Trump. The nations that have normalized relations with Israel: United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Morocco, and Kazakhstan. So that is the president talking about. I don't know, Joan. Do you think that he would let this whole thing blow up over Saudi Arabia and Iran? And he's talking about other nations too, but basically Saudi Arabia and Iran not signing on to the Abraham Accords. I think that Donald Trump is doing what Donald Trump does, and I don't mean this in a negative way. But prepare to send your nasty texts to 615-737-9986. I think what Donald Trump is doing is he's bloviating.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Right, Joan? He's like, I don't know if we sign a deal. Even if you're watching on Super Talk TV, his body language was such where he's just, I don't know if we sign a deal if we can't expand the Abraham Accords. And I don't know. Donald Trump is doing what Donald Trump does. He talks big, and then he swings for the fences, and then he negotiates. But the bottom line is that's what the president wants. He wants Saudi Arabia and Iran to sign on to, and some other nations as well.
Wasn't Saudi Arabia already on the cusp of doing that?
They were.
Point, yeah.
So a lot of these nations, I did mention this yesterday, a lot of these nations have already had some additional normalized relationships or relations with Israel. So I don't know if you would say they're on the cusp. There's a lot of of challenges within these nations, because you have segments within the population of these nations that cannot stand Israel. So there are political ramifications within each and every one of these nations. As Donald Trump is demanding that they sign on to the Abraham Accords, they would not accept a signing on to the Abraham Accords. And so I'm reading Politico and some other publications where you've got leaders of these nations that are they're silent. They're not even responding to this because they know that they just can't do it. So I don't know. I don't know if I believe that Donald Trump would just walk away from the Iranian peace deal, nuclear deal, if nobody signed on, if these other nations didn't sign on to the peace accords, the Abraham Accords. You know, the thing is, these nations have been attacked by Iran, and they've had their drones and their bombs fall from Iran because we went into and after Iran. So I think that Donald Trump, just to be perfectly honest, I don't care, but I think Donald Trump might be getting on their last nerve. That's my opinion on this whole thing. So we'll have to see ultimately where this whole thing goes. Would I like to see the Abraham Accords expanded? Absolutely, I would. Would that be great for Israel? Absolutely. Would this bring further peace to the Middle East? Yeah. And by the way, for a lot of these nations, and then I'm going to move on, but for a lot of these nations, it would bring more revenue to them because they would be in business with Israel. And when you do business with Israel, typically business is pretty darn good. So that is all part of it. There's a lot of reasons to praise Donald Trump trying to expand the Abraham Accords. There's a lot of room for criticism as well. And a lot of people, including the leaders of some of these Middle Eastern nations, basically saying this is not going to happen, or they're actually saying nothing, which speaks volumes. It is 5:43 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right, let's play this audio. One of the first things Joan Jones said to me this morning before we started complimenting each other's shoes, which was a great conversation. Yeah. Jill Biden is out there and making the rounds, and she says that she thought that Joe Biden, her husband, was having a stroke during that debate in 2024. This is what she's saying.
Were you horrified as you saw it unfold?
I wasn't horrified, I was frightened, because I had never, ever seen Joe like that.
With the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden.
You know, the funny thing is, and they're kind of flashing back and forth, but Donald Trump's reaction when that happened is he is kind of looking down. Then he looks at Joe Biden a couple of times, and I think that was the moment when they asked Donald Trump to respond, and Donald Trump said, well, I'm not exactly sure what the president said there, and I'm not sure that he does either. Do you remember that moment? I think that was the moment when Trump said that to Joe Biden. But I mean, the entire debate was a disaster for Joe Biden. But here's the thing. When Jill Biden, again, making the rounds and talking about how she thought that her husband was having a stroke, I don't believe that his debate performance, I don't think that his debate performance was really all that different from what we were seeing from the president, Joe Biden, in the previous 2 years. I mean, that was basically what Americans were seeing of Joe Biden. That debate was consistent with what we were seeing. Would you agree, Joan?
I would agree, and I kind of have a theory about this.
Go ahead.
The media and the left, you know, and I repeat myself, were able to hide, you know, who he was and what he was like for so long. But when you're on the debate stage and every network in the world is focused on is focused on Joe Biden, there's no denying at that point that there is something seriously wrong. And it was just that moment that finally the whole world saw what we were all seeing. And there was no denying at that point.
That's an outstanding point, Joan, which is, so the debate, everybody was watching. Everybody, like people that are not necessarily enthralled and enthused about politics, were beginning to pay attention to the race, the campaign. And so when Biden clearly struggling that night, I think, didn't they say that he had a cold or something?
Yeah, that he took, I don't know.
Ambien, whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, they made excuses for him. But the reality is that the president at the time, Joe Biden, that was the moment when people who don't necessarily pay attention to politics may have realized, as you just said, Joan, what we knew all along, which was, okay, this is a president that is having a problem. Here's a little bit more from that interview with Jill Biden, because we named the show today in the show title on YouTube, Jill Biden. I think we said something like Jill Biden is a liar. Well, the reason why she's a liar is because here she is making the rounds where she's literally saying that she thought that her husband was having a stroke. But after the debate, she praised her husband.
Yeah. Before or since? Never.
Or since?
Yes. Or
You've
since.
never seen him like
Never.
that?
No.
What happened?
I don't know what happened. I mean, as I watched it, I thought, oh my God, he's having a stroke. And it scared me to death.
Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the facts.
Remember that whole thing? Where she's treating Joe Biden like a third grader.
Third grader, yeah.
I mean,
but
clearly...
But if she was so concerned about him having a stroke, why was she glorifying him on stage?
Why would she not take him to the damn hospital?
Right.
If she thinks that he is stroking out, why is he up there on stage and with her while she's saying, you answered every question? Now,
and
what she
4
didn't...
more years.
Yeah, there was this chant of 4 more years. It's like, really? With what you thought was a stroke victim? And the funny thing is, she said, again, treating him like a third grader, oh, you answered every question. Here's a cookie, right? So, but the thing is, well, how did he answer the questions? Like, I mean, yeah, words were spoken, but the reality is that he didn't say anything. And when he did say something, the words really didn't make any sense.
But when you mill from the bill...
Play Joan Shawanga.
Joan Shingang, I'm going to pronounce it, Shanga Kawawa.
I mean, listen.
That's from a Asian Pacific Islander press conference, by the way, where he was trying to pronounce somebody's name.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know what? I think I said at the time when that whole thing came out, I think that I said, you got to know your limitations, man. Like, I mean, I'll be honest with you. There are times when there are names in the news I'm not even going to try to pronounce.
Or countries.
Or countries that I don't know how to...
Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan. What?
Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan. What did I say? Not that.
Kazakhstan.
Whatever. I don't... You know what? That's okay, because Joan has a commercial where she goes totally New Jersey.
Oh, I do?
Yeah.
What?
The Wellness Institute of Nashville, where Joan goes, what is it? Because Sam and I were making fun of you a couple of days ago. What was it? What is the word that she pronounces where she goes totally New Jersey? Bad. Painisbad.com.
Pain is bad.
So that's my version of
non-surgical.
Yeah. Non-surgical, spinal, whatever. So
that whole phrase, the way she says it, I'm like, okay.
Yeah. So we're all friends here. Yeah. So if I'm gonna get ridiculed for shanking Kazakhstan or whatever the hell it is now. See, now what's happened
That's how you said it the first time.
Here's what's happening though, is now you're calling me out, and now I'm like, okay, how the hell do I say it? And I probably said that country a 1,000 times. Yeah. But now that and here's the funny thing. When I did, this is the mind of a talk show host, well, at least me, is that when I said it the first time, I thought I screwed that up. Like, I knew that I shanked it, yet I try to just keep on going. And then you bring it up. Thank you very much, Sam.
Authoritarian.
Authoritarian, yes. All right, here's more from Jill Biden.
And let me ask the crowd, what did Trump do? Why?
My God. I mean, it
screechy.
The screeching Jill Biden.
Hey, that's Dr. Jill Biden to you.
Right.
Yeah.
So now even some on the left, you know what I've decided to start calling CNN, by the way, Joan?
The Democrats.
The Democrats, sure. Or I've decided to start calling them not broadcasters. I've decided they are fraudcasters.
Oh.
Thank you.
I like it.
There you go. Does that make up for how I pronounced Kazakhstan? Whatever that. Fraudcasters. So,
can we please send Dan Mandis on a peace negotiating mission to Kazakhstan?
Kazakhstan. That's right. That's what it is.
Dan, you answered every question.
I did, didn't I? Somebody get me a cookie from
Cabana Wife Cookies.
From Cabana Wife Cookies. That's what I want.
To go with your Wally's Bean Machine coffee.
To go. That's what I need every morning.
Ooh.
I need a Wally's Bean Machine cup of coffee, along with a Cabana Wife Wilson cookie.
And then for dinner, you need to be taken to a place where you can draw on the placemats.
That's exactly right. So CNN, the fraudcasters known as CNN, they played the clip, and then they actually had a bit of a comment on this.
Tonight, a stunning admission from Jill Biden about her husband's debate performance. Take a listen.
Were you horrified as you saw it unfold?
I wasn't horrified, I was frightened because I had never, ever seen Joe like that before or since. Never.
Or since?
Yes. Or
You've
since.
never seen him like
never.
that?
No.
What happened?
I don't.
By the way, do you believe that she has never seen Joe like
It's
that
a lie.
ever again?
It's
She's
a lie.
lying through her teeth.
know what happened. I mean, as I watched it, I thought, oh my God, he's having a stroke. And it scared me to death.
That interview comes just weeks before the release of the former First Lady's new memoir, and it's the first time that we've heard her express any concern about that debate that ultimately ended Joe Biden's 2024 campaign. But that stands in stark contrast to what Jill Biden had to say just moments after the debate.
Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the facts. And let me ask the crowd, what did Trump do? Why?
You know, the other part of that is the faraway look.
You know, if she was my mom, I'd smoke crack too.
Yeah.
I think technically it's stepmom.
Oh.
Bonus mom.
Oh.
Is what you, how would you like?
Well, then I would
Jill
also,
Biden that's not much of a bonus.
I would also harass prostitutes and smoke crack cocaine if she was my stepmom.
You know, Jill, I want to try to make this, I want to try to do this right. So Jill Biden, Joan, you'll love this. Jill Biden as a bonus mom is the equivalent of a radio bonus.
Wah, wah.
Whatever. Here's more from CNN. The fraudcasters known as CNN.
Even Joe Biden seems a little amused by that clip. Jamal, okay, your instant reaction to the Jill Biden.
You know, we talked about this a little bit in the last segment. When you lie to people right to their face, they have a tendency to not trust you. Mm-hmm. And, you know, a lot of people knew something was wrong with Joe Biden. I went to a dinner in Detroit, an AACP dinner. He was the guest speaker. His speech was great, but seeing him just make the walk to the stage, I was concerned. I was like, hey, this dude doesn't look right.
Well, and it's also not only, that's Jamel Hill. The other worry about Biden walking to the stage is actually leaving the stage, because we know that he tended to get lost. Leaving, I don't know, what is the average size of a stage? It's like, I have no idea. They're very small. And there's only a couple of ways to get off the stage. Yet somehow, Joe Biden managed to get lost every single time.
Well, and then you're talking to a technical director before you walk up, and they're going to go, hey, you're going to walk up, you're going to stand there, give your spiel, either walk down that way or that way. You get that as you're walking up there. So within a matter of 5 minutes, he would lose that information somehow.
Well, and here's the other thing on that. It's a great point. Is Obama, remember this, when Obama had to take Joe by the arm and walk him off the stage? And everybody noticed that. Most media wouldn't acknowledge it or report what we all saw, which was that Obama needed to take Joe Biden off of the stage gently by the arm. It is 5:56, and Joan, who for whatever reason I almost called it Jill. Joan has the news coming up at 6. And what do we got?
So a black eye for the CIA. This is an incredible story. One of its agents duped their bosses at the CIA. It involves gold bars and all kinds of cool things. This story is incredible. It's coming up at 6 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Tensions are escalating in the Middle East, with Iran threatening to attack an American airbase in the region after the U.S. announced new airstrikes on Iran. Here's ABC's Sophie Flay.
Growing concern the war in Iran could be ramping up. The U.S., for the second time this week, has launched attacks in southern Iran, targeting what officials say is a military site that was posing a threat to U.S. forces, and shooting down 4 Iranian attack drones near the Strait of Hormuz. Hours later, the military of nearby Kuwait said it was responding to missile and drone attacks. The apparent escalation in the region threatens to undermine peace talks.
Also this morning, the Treasury Department has sanctioned the Persian Gulf Strait Authority. That's the body that Iran established to charge tolls for transiting through the Strait of Hormuz. More arrests related to defrauding Medicaid programs. 2 Minnesota men, Shamso Ahmed Hassan and Hanan Mursal Yousaf. They allegedly billed Medicaid for services not provided, totaling $21 million. Hassan's wife is also charged in a $14 million autism center fraud scheme, and she's connected to the Feeding Our Future fraud scheme. A high-level CIA official has been arrested after his bosses became suspicious about his background. Here's ABC's Olivia Rubin.
$40 million worth of gold bars were found inside the home of a former senior CIA official who's now accused of lying about his past. Federal agents say they raided the Virginia home of David Rush and uncovered more than 300 gold bars, along with millions of dollars in cash and dozens of luxury watches. Court documents describe Rush as a, quote, former senior executive service level employee with a top secret security clearance.
Now, to get his job, Rush posed as a highly decorated Navy Reserve captain and Air Force test pilot. And the 2 colleges that he claimed to have graduated from report he never went to school there. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com.
Stock futures slipped overnight, but that followed a day in which all 3 major averages scored new record highs. The Dow Jones rose 183 points Wednesday to close at 50,644. The Standard & Poor's and NASDAQ Composite each added less than 0.1%. Federal health officials say that around 8% of Americans went without health insurance last year, on par with recent years. There's more controversy involving prediction markets. Federal prosecutors have charged a Google employee with fraud, alleging that information security engineer Michelle Spagnolo made over $1 million in bets on Polymarket that singer David would be Google's most searched person in 2025. Prosecutors say Spagnolo used confidential year-in-search data and already knew the answer when he placed his bets. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Stock futures falling a bit here. The Dow futures are now down 96. NASDAQ futures down 149. The S&P futures minus 18. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. All right, so we're looking at a problem in Talbot's Corner this morning. It's a crash on 65, the southbound lanes underneath the I-24 North exit, number 88. And the right shoulder is blocked off by that. By the way, that's a tractor trailer and a car involved in that crash. Then you have some widening work going on both directions on 65 between Vietnam Veterans Boulevard and Louisville Highway. That is because of that. They're doing some blasting in that area. They say that it's going to happen once a day between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. on the weekdays all the way through June. Just be advised that you may end up getting stuck in that traffic for a little while every day as well. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.607 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you, friends. Hope you are doing well, and welcome on in to a Thursday, May 28th of 2026. 3654 says this. You know, Joan and Sam were talking about Jill Biden and how she is out there just... What was it, Joe? Sam, what did dog face, pony soldier, liar thing? What was it Joe Biden used to say about liars that had to do with dog-faced pony soldier liars? I don't remember now.
Dog-faced pony soldier is a phrase notably used by Joe Biden, who frequently deployed the insult lying dog-faced pony soldier to playfully or dismissively address voters. He claimed the bizarre rambling expression was a line that he remembered his brother quoting from an old John Wayne movie. That was from an AI overview on Google.
Okay, so I believe that Jill Biden is a dog-faced pony soldier. Is that what it is?
Yeah, lying dog-faced
pony soldier.
Yeah, she's definitely dog-faced.
So 3654 says, don't you think that if Dr. Jill Biden actually thought that her husband Joe was having a stroke and she cared anything about him, that she would have immediately sought medical attention? 3654, first-time texter, by the way, had a few of those today, which thank you very much. So I think that that's something that we were all saying at the time, which was, if she's a doctor, can't she see that her husband is clearly losing his ever-loving mind? I mean, that was obvious to everyone.
Maybe she thought he was having one of those cool John Fetterman strokes, like he would somehow get smarter.
Maybe, although I don't think, was John Fetterman a thing back then? I don't remember if Fetterman was, I don't know.
I think Fetterman was actually having a stroke at that time, right?
He was probably having a stroke watching the president clearly having strokes. Whatever, moving right along. Other stories in the news we will get to, because I do find this interesting, the whole E. Jean Carroll and how I guess the DOJ, is it the DOJ? The DOJ is now investigating E. Jean Carroll.
Yeah.
I didn't really pay much attention to that story this morning, but Joan is compiling some audio, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. Because I mean, when that whole E. Jean Carroll thing came about, it was absolutely ludicrous that Donald Trump got hit with $80-something million settlement for basically defending himself against rape. So we're going to talk about that, not now, but at some point we're going to talk about that. Also coming up in the second half of this hour, you remember yesterday at about the same time, we spoke with a Mount Juliet Middle School former teacher, Charles Ware. And it was a conversation. He had some accusations and has some accusations against the school that he used to work for, because he says that they did not follow the proper protocols when there was a threat. And so that was a long conversation. And apparently the reaction to that interview has been what you would expect. We're going to talk about that coming up at 6:35 here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. By the way, the Super Text line is open, very active today this morning. Thank you very much. 615-737-9986, 615-737-WWTN. Speaking of dog face, pony, soldier, liars, whatever, James Talarico, man, he is getting raked over the coals. So I feel like I have to reset these topics every time I do them. If you don't know who James Talarico is, just very briefly, he is the Democrat running for the Senate in the state of Texas. He is running against Ken Paxton. Now, the political knives are out against James Talarico. The stage is set for that Senate run between this progressive Democrat and Republican Ken Paxton. Now, one person on CNN, and I love this, obviously left-leaning, admitted that Talarico, he's going to have a hard time relating to the average Texan. Now, remember, one of the worst things that he has said, and there's a laundry list of things that he has said that, in my opinion, clearly will politically turn off the average Texan. One of the things that he said is that God is non-binary. Now, if you don't know what non-binary means, it's basically someone who does not identify as a man or a woman. Talarico has now come out and said that he is being, when he said that God is non-binary, he is now defending those statements, saying that he was being intentionally provocative. Now, I don't believe that for a second. I believe that the reason that he said that God is non-binary is to try to relate to your average progressive. I think that's what he was trying to do because, you know, progressives, they don't care about insulting Christians. I mean, let's just be honest. They don't. They make sport out of trying to insult Christians. That is exactly what he did. But anyway, so there was some analysis of that comment on CNN, and this is what was said, and this is absolutely true.
The idea that he has this odd interpretation of God that doesn't align with these traditional faith voters is going to be a problem with African-American voters, Latino voters as well. Such a good point.
Yeah, it is such a good point. So now a lot of what is happening is that a lot of those clips that we here on WTN have been playing on the morning show are becoming even more viral because now the stuff's getting real, if you know what I mean. The race is here. It is Paxton versus Talarico in what is going to be a very hotly contested race and worth about $250 to $300 million in what many people are saying is going to be the most expensive Senate race in history. And I'm going to make a comparison with Kamala Harris. James Talarico is really the Kamala Harris of 2026. I'm going to tell you why coming up next. It is 6:15. Time to check the roads on WTN.
Talbot's Corner, 65 southbound, under 24 north. We've got an accident on the right. Vietnam Veterans Boulevard and Louisville Highway. No problems on 24 or 40. I'm Christy O'Brien.
As far as weather goes, a little bit of sun today, then some clouds, thunderstorms possible in some parts of our listening area. Highs in the mid to upper 80s. Why is James Talarico the Kamala Harris of 2026? Well, here's why. Remember when Kamala was running for president, like way back the first time, but then when she had the 107 days when she took over for Joe Biden, where these old clips of her spouting ultra-progressive liberal views and the advocacy for open borders, the advocacy for health care for illegal aliens, the whole thing, all of those really progressive comments from Kamala Harris, they resurfaced. And so the question was, will the real Kamala Harris stand up? Was it, I'm going to air quote this, was it moderate presidential candidate Kamala Harris that was the real Kamala, or past Kamala, rabid liberal progressive? Well, Talarico has the same challenge. he needs to define himself as moderate, even though you've got all of these clips out there of him saying, not only very progressive things, but also, just very bizarre things. He was on the ultra progressive Midas Touch podcast talking about climate change. I want you to listen to what he said. This was in the last couple of days. Listen.
Texans are seeing that climate change is here and that we need action. And so I think if it can happen in Texas, if we can build that bipartisan coalition to save the planet, if we can do it here, then there's hope for us doing it across the country and across the world. And so we've got to keep this issue on the front burner, pardon my pun, to make sure that folks understand that this is no longer a theoretical possibility. It is no longer something in the distant future for our kids and grandkids to deal with. It is here, and it is killing Texans and Americans by the thousands. Texas just became the nation's leader in wind and solar energy. Texas is now the capital of renewable energy in the United States, which I think will surprise some of your viewers.
Wait, so I want to make sure we have this right. Texas, with a Republican state legislature, a Republican governor, and a lot of conservatives in that state, Texas now leads the nation in wind and solar. So why do we need James Talarico? I mean, it sounds like, if you believe in the whole climate change and you want renewable energy, it sounds like conservatives and Texas have it under control. The other part of that was when he said that you've got Texans and Americans, climate change is killing Texas and Americans, I'm going to air quote this, by the thousands. I mean, obviously, that depends on what in the world you're talking about. It sounds like a lot of hyperbole to me. But, if you are a Democrat and climate change is your thing in Texas, again, it looks like the Republicans have done a great job at renewables. And by the way, yes, Texas does lead the nation in wind and solar energy production. They also lead the nation in power outages. So, whatever.
And that's glossing over all of the oil money in Texas that no one's going to give up anytime soon.
And that's the other part of
or the cattle money that you get from selling the steaks that he doesn't eat.
That's exactly right. And I'm getting to that part of the story because this guy is antithetical. It's like he's what it is? He's antithetical to what Texas stands for. Oil and meat, right?
Did you see Brandon Gill flame him about that picture?
I loved his response.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, well, now you've got to tell me because I don't know.
Talarico, the Democrats' social media page posted Talarico in a Texas shirt eating a turkey leg.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
And Brandon Gill said, quick, get in front of the camera with your Texas shirt on and eating a turkey leg. Who is a true Texan, by the way.
Yeah.
I think he's a rising star.
Brandon Gill?
Yeah.
Oh, he's absolutely a rising star. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, okay, this is where I'm talking. I've got all these audio clips lined up. So talking about eating less meat in Texas, screaming about more renewable energy, where they produce massive amounts of oil, natural gas, and coal. It's a massive industry. One of the things that Republicans are doing is they have this attitude, clearly Democrats do, of they want more renewables. That comes with an attitude of less oil, natural gas, coal production, which Texas is famous for, known for. They make billions of dollars every year with. So more renewables would come, and that would ultimately harm the Texas economy. But Benny Johnson and others are now defining Talarico as they should. So Benny Johnson posts this. Let me tell you who James Talarico really is. And then he goes through the litany of sound bites. You folks, I've been playing these sound bites for like months now. So I don't want to, beat you down every day with the same sound bites. But, here's what Republicans and conservatives are posting. James Talarico, define your enemy. He thinks God is non-binary. He used the Bible to say the Virgin Mary would support abortion. Declared Jesus Christ was a radical feminist. And I must have missed that one. So that's another one. Says atheists are more Christ-like than Christians. called men in women's sports a far-right conspiracy, thinks illegal aliens are more patriotic than Americans, believes there are 6 biological sexes, posted guides on how to evade ICE, called the border a giant welcome mat, wants to abolish prisons, and when asked what he thinks about, besides family, he said trans kids. Now, the other thing that I like about people responding to James Talarico is Ted Cruz actually, when the audio of him saying, what do you think about it in your life besides family? And he says trans kids. Ted Cruz comes out with his response where he says, he couldn't have just said the Houston Astros. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So funny.
By the way, some of the core principles of this guy's church, right?
Oh, that's right. Go.
Yeah. Universal love and inclusion. The radical welcome for all people, regardless of belief, sexuality, gender, identity, race, background, or doubts. He stresses that agnostics and atheists can sometimes be more Christ-like than some Christians, and that Jesus liberates rather than controls us. Social justice is a lived faith, acting on love through public policy, support for public education, helping the poor, immigrants, LGBTQ plus inclusion, reproductive rights, environmental care, and human rights. He ties this to the Sermon on the Mount.
He's a preacher, right?
No, he's a wannabe.
He's a wannabe preacher.
He's like Justin Pearson.
Yes, like Justin Pearson. That is exactly right. By the way, Scott Jennings, as this is all being discussed, Scott Jennings over on CNN, those fraudcasters known as CNN, he brings up a great point. Are Republicans who voted for John Cornyn suddenly going to switch to Talarico, a guy with such bizarre views?
Well, look, first of all, on the Republican voters, when they analyze the records of these two candidates, let's say you voted for Cornyn. Are you really going to switch your vote to a guy who thinks there's 6 genders and it's immoral to eat meat because of the climate crisis? No Texan believes that other than Talarico, and no Texas Republican is going to switch their vote from Cornyn to a Democrat.
Yeah, I mean, that is very true. Now, I believe it is a valid worry, and I think, Joan, you can back me up on this, or I may be all wet, but I think it's a valid worry about Republicans staying home. That could be an issue. If they just, because we saw this with Trump, where there are some Republicans who just, they can't stand the issues that they have with Ken Paxton, where, he's got some scandals in his past. We talked about that yesterday, where they may just refuse to hold their nose and go to the polls and vote for a Ken Paxton because they don't like his past. That could obviously favor Talarico. But I think the Republican Party, by and large, if they see, and I may be wrong on this, but if they see a really close race, then I believe that they will go out to the polls. And so we'll continue talking about this and a whole lot more straight ahead. 6:24 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Joan has the news at 6:30. Joan.
Okay, so remember the Tennessee lawmaker who stood on her desk during the redistricting fight?
Yes, I remember her.
Yeah, she just learned what her punishment is going to be. I've got that story coming up at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WGN.
I think, hold on. Mm-hmm. Okay. What's her name again?
Charlene Oliver.
I think that her punishment needs to be everybody else's benefit, and she needs to wear long skirts from now on.
Oh, that's cruel.
Moving right along.
Yeah.
Did you say cruel or cool?
Yeah, cruel.
Okay, very good. Anyway, whatever. So is having to look at her legs. I'm sorry. I'm totally kidding. Maybe. 6:25 on WTN. Oh, me. Right. Covered patio. It is, Lord, I'm all over the place today. I'm telling you, there is a black cat that crossed my path this morning. That's what this whole thing is, that's what this show's been like.
You know what? I think I'm going to send a black cat over your car trail every single day because it's kind of fun when this happens.
Oh, is it kind of fun, Joan? Is it kind of fun for you?
It's hysterical.
Good. My career spirals out of control, but glad you're enjoying it and having a good time.
Joan seems like she threw sticks in other kids' bike spokes and tried to knock them off.
Is there something wrong with that?
Joan says to that, I only wish my aim was better to get I'm never going to ride bikes with Joan Jones, just so we're clear. All right, covered patio. Dan Metis here. For my friends at the Covered Patio, warmer weather means you want to spend more time outside. If you want to add more living space to your home, think about building or upgrading your patio. At the Covered Patio, they've got motorized screens so that you can easily keep the patio open when you want some sun and closed when you want some shade. So your back screened-in porch becomes a lot more enjoyable. When you check out my friends at the Covered Patio, they've got a ton of outdoor living options with motorized screens, patio covers, custom wooden decks, and outdoor structures as well. They've got a ton of options with styles for every budget. Now, the Covered Patio is dedicated to fair prices and customized solutions for your specific home and your specific space. So enjoy your home a lot more with an incredible patio upgrade from the Covered Patio. Reach out to them. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. 615-695-2407. 615-695-2407. Online, thecoveredpatio.com. Thecoveredpatio.com.
Good morning, 631. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories, and the rioting continues outside the Delaney Hall Ice facility in Newark, New Jersey this morning. And tensions were on the rise when a trash truck driver was blocked from going down the street as protesters stood outside and used batons to stop that truck from moving. Well, video shows the driver getting out of his truck and losing it on those protesters.
Nobody go to jail. That's why here y'all go to jail, right? Come on. What's wrong with y'all, man? Come on, man.
Protesters eventually cleared the way for that guy. They let him go through. They're still out there, though. 3 people so far have been arrested. A Tennessee lawmaker has received her punishment for standing on top of her desk in a tight white dress in protest over the redistricting vote. Here's News 2's Bob Mueller.
State Senator Charlene Oliver received a letter saying she had been removed from multiple committees and reimbursements for travel and food are now restricted. Oliver responded to the letter saying in part, quote, "The actions I took on May 7th were not a violation of decorum. When the rules of the chamber are used to protect the powerful and silence the marginalized, standing on that desk is the least I can do."
Oliver also complained that the letter misspelled her name, saying, "Next time, spell my name right." And the very first Dolly Parton travel stop is set to open in just about a month on June 24th. It'll be in Cornersville. That's about an hour south of Nashville on I-65. Travelers will be able to relax, shop exclusive merch, and enjoy barbecue, fresh coffee, and a full-service sit-down restaurant. Dolly's Tennessee and travel stops are also going to feature live music.
So are they going after Buc-ee's? Is that what it is?
You know what? I would bet they are.
Yeah, it sounds like they're going after Buc-ee's.
Yeah, I think this is going to be so Tennessee because it's Dolly. In this one in Cornersville, they're going to have one of her tour buses outside as well that you can go walk through.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. So
have you been in Dolly's tour bus? Yeah, I have too.
Yeah.
It's her actual tour bus.
Yeah.
So it's very cool.
Very cool. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly.
That is the latest news. We've got your traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Friends, it is Thursday. That means that the day after tomorrow is the day, honestly, that 2A supporters all across Middle Tennessee have been looking forward to. It is the Glock Store's open house on Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Doors open at 9. It just keeps getting bigger and better. We've been talking about the raffles, and right now, over $65,000 worth of incredible gun gear that's going to be raffled off again between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Now, remember, the earlier that you get there, the earlier that you can start entering into those raffles to win. Now, they're giving away 5 Glocks, each featuring some of their favorite performance parts from companies like Radian, Maple Leaf, and Zafiri. Now, Father's Day is coming up. If you've got a 2A supporting dad and maybe you're a little short on cash, why don't you show up at the Glock store and maybe you can win something cool for dear old dad. And don't forget about the $200, $150, $50 deal. The first 200 people who spend $150 will get a set of $50 Savior electronic earmuffs absolutely free. Now, I'm going to be there. Chris Hand's going to be there. Matt Murphy's going to be there as well. It is the Glock Store's 6th annual open house. Go early, win big. It's a Glock Store thing. We'll see you on Saturday.
So we have an accident this morning in the East Bank area. It's on 24 eastbound at Shelby Avenue. It's actually a stalled out vehicle on the right shoulder. Talbot's Corner, they're still working a crash scene, a tractor trailer and a car involved in a crash on 65 South underneath the I-24 North exit ramp. Also in Arrington on I-840, the westbound lanes past Horton Highway. That's where you'll find another crash this morning, that one involving injuries. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.638, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'd made mention, just real quick, the Super Text line is very busy this morning, and to be honest, having a hard time keeping up. So one of the Super Texters, Joan, said that James Talarico has an imaginary girlfriend. Now, I don't know, I've not heard that about Talarico, but I did ask Sam to investigate that as the chief investigator for Nashville's Morning News, or chief Googler. And so what does the Google machine say?
So apparently there's a meme going around that claims that Talarico has a fake girlfriend. In a podcast interview with Jamie Kern earlier this month, Talarico was asked if he was single. He replied that he has a girlfriend of many years, reported as 4. He described her as my rock, my best friend, someone who helped him get through the intense Senate race. He also mentioned hopes of having kids one day. His campaign later confirmed that they met when she was chief of staff in his Texas House office. They developed feelings. She left the office for other opportunities, and they've been together ever since. The campaign asked media outlets not to publish her name, citing safety concerns amid the high-profile and heated campaign against Ken Paxton.
Why wouldn't he talk about who his girlfriend is?
I don't. I understand the safety concerns aspect of it.
Yeah.
But it's not valid. If you're going to be a public figure, people need to know, literally who you're in bed with.
Well,
that's a lobbyist joke and a
I get it.
joke.
I get it.
But no public photos of the girl or name have ever been released, and so the conspiracy has taken hold that she's just a beard.
Do you know, that's actually interesting. Should a public figure, I sense a Daily Dan poll, if you're running for Senate, should you, and you claim that you have, so this is important. If you're running for Senate and you claim that you have a longtime girlfriend and she is your rock, then we're not talking about somebody who you're just like casually dating.
Yeah.
You're talking about somebody who you claim is a lifelong girlfriend and your rock. Well, then should that person be named? Because it does seem to me like if this is a significant person in your life and she could eventually be your wife, then should that person be, I don't want to use the term exposed, but should that person be revealed? If it's an important person in your life, I don't know. I'm stuck on this one.
I don't know how you're not, after 4 years, and you know where your career is going. Clearly, I guess you're claiming she works in politics. Why have you not gotten to popping the question, or at least having the conversation about marriage?
Wait, is it Beyonce? Or is it...
put a ring on it?
Put a ring on it?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
You like it? You should put a ring on it? Okay.
Whatever. Moving right along. All right.
Which, by the way,
yeah.
Black Republican candidate that was running for, I want to say it was Senate, out of South Carolina, that unmarried, like in his 50s. Joan, remember who I'm talking about? No?
She's not paying attention.
No, she's not.
She's listening to, when Joan doesn't pay attention to us, you know what she's doing? I'm air quoting this, listening to audio.
I'm listening to E. Jean Carroll.
Oh, is that what you're listening to?
Yeah, I
am. All right, we're going to do that later.
Yeah, okay.
We're going to do that later. So what were you saying? The guy in South Carolina?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the guy's name. He was running for office, and he had to come out and say he had a girlfriend. Tim Scott.
Yeah.
He was, he's in his 50s and he's unmarried, and that it starts to throw people for a bit of a loop when you are a public servant, but you're not what are you running for if you don't have a family that you're trying to defend?
I thought that was a bunch of horse hooey. People saying that about Tim Scott. Do you know what I said about Tim Scott at the time when all that stuff was, because people are intimating that he's gay, right? So let's be honest. So why is Tim Scott at the age, not that there's anything wrong with that, but Tim Scott, people are saying, oh, he must be gay. He's in his 50s and has never been married. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. So here's a guy with no illegitimate children. He's not paying any child support. He's not paying any alimony, and he doesn't have any ex-wives dogging him. Yeah, he must be a real you-know-what. I mean, it was the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah, but I was willing to buy that for Cory Booker.
Yeah, that was the other guy I was going to mention. Cory Booker, his beard.
He's definitely.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if he is or not.
You showed the engagement photos and how over the stage they were.
Okay, so the Cory Booker engagement photos were off the charts cheesy.
Yeah.
Now, I'm trying to think if Amy and I did engagement photos. Did you do engagement photos, Joan?
We didn't. No.
Did you do engagement photos, Sam?
Yeah, they were great.
Were yours good?
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't know.
Album cover worthy.
And so, I thought that his engagement photos, Cory Booker's, were over the top. But, whatever. I mean, to each his own.
I'll say this about Talarico. He gives off a very effeminate beta male vibe.
Absolutely.
That in social circles, I have seen among men that were in the closet.
Beta male meaning what?
He's weak mentally and physically. Like he's just very low testosterone.
That's why they call him Low T Talarico.
Well,
that's the new name.
Who was it? Was it Stephen Miller? Somebody tweeted out, what's Beta O'Rourke, Talarico, and I want to say it was Andy Brashear, somebody else. Like, why do they all look the same? And he tweeted back, Low T, high soy.
Maybe they should try the Low T Center, lowtcenter.com. All right, moving right along. 6:45. Speaking of Talarico, he did say something yesterday in this interview with, I think it was NBC or ABC. He's all over the place trying to redefine himself on illegal immigration. Wait till you hear what he had to say. It is coming up, 6:45. Time to check the roads on WTN.
Emergency crews on the scene. I'm Christy O'Brien.
All right, as far as your weather for today, it is Thursday, May 28th. Some sun, then clouds, a thunderstorm possible in parts of the listening area. High in the mid to upper 80s. All right, so James Talarico, again, he is trying to redefine himself, and he was asked about illegal immigration and how our border needs to be a welcome mat.
I've always said that our southern border should be like our front porch. There should be a welcome mat and a lock on the door, meaning we can both welcome immigrants who want to come here and live the American dream, who want to contribute to our economy, who want to contribute to our communities, make us richer and stronger, as immigrants have always done throughout American history. And we can keep out people who mean to do us harm. We can know who's trying to come into our country. We can have an orderly, sane immigration system that keeps us all safe, that promotes public safety.
So can I ask a question? This is a party that lied to us for 4 years about the border is secure. So is there anybody within the sound of my voice that believes him when he talks about, illegal immigration, protecting the border, public safety? You can't trust a Democrat. I would ask this question, where was James Talarico when Biden and Alejandro Mayorkas and Cringe Jean-Pierre and all these people were saying that the border was secure when it clearly was not? I mean, there's zero doubt that our legal immigration system needs to be fixed. But listening to him talk about controlled illegal immigration and controlling legal immigration, can we trust this Democrat who, again, his party for years lied to us, gaslit the American people, and said the border was secure as millions of illegals poured in? And it's not just Talarico, it's the entire party during the Biden administration where they, again, gaslit Americans on the border we continue to deal with that day after day after day. Now, yesterday, we spoke with a former Mount Juliet Middle School teacher in the segment, a guy by the name of Charles Ware. And it was a lengthy conversation and getting a lot of feedback. I've gotten a lot of feedback on that interview, and apparently Charles has as well. Now, if you remember the interview, he's made a few interviews. I think I had the longest one at about 20 minutes. But he's got some very serious allegations against the school because, and I've got a couple of audio clips to play from that interview. But basically, if you missed the interview, what he said was that a threat had come in. He had become aware of a school threat, that a kid at the school was threatening to basically shoot up the school. He was threatening a couple of football coaches as well because he didn't make the football team. By the way, this is audio only. And he talked about that day.
I got notified by a student that this threat was made. I wasn't the only teacher. There were numerous teachers that got the notification. We all told admin like we're supposed to. We're supposed to immediately notify admin. We did that, and the threat wasn't taken seriously.
So he ends up letting all of the other football coaches know, as in my opinion he should. He notified teachers who had this kid in his class, and the kid was trying to get his book bag in his locker room, in the locker room. And so one of the things that Ware said was, this kid's making threats. Do not allow him to get his book bag in the locker room. Stands to reason that if he's making a threat, shoot up the school and these things, that there might be some sort of a firearm in his book bag. So as all of this is going on, he's also notified the principal, the 3 vice principals as well. The accusation that he's making is that nobody in the administration was taking this threat seriously. So he's notified coaches, he's notified teachers, he's notified everybody, and the concern amongst everyone at the school, according to Charles Ware, is that the administration was not taking this seriously. This kid was allowed to not only get the book bag, but that he was allowed to hang with the other kids at lunch and I guess recess. And as I said, he was allowed to get that book bag. The fear being that he may have had a weapon inside the bag.
When I had my meeting yesterday with the director of schools, he actually said that the student was later suspended because he lost his mind in the classroom and started cussing out the teacher and cussing out students and causing a disruption. So this child had a history of violence, but they didn't take the threat serious.
So the kid ends up, as the story goes, bullying the kids who had warned Charles Ware and others about this threat. One of the kids was the best friend of this troubled youth, and the other one was his locker mate. So you have the kid's best friend and the locker mate both saying that he is making threats, and so those 2 kids, as the story goes, got disciplined by the principal. And the teacher who had reported the threats and the whole thing, he ended up getting fired. And one of the things that the school district is saying, according to Charles Ware, is that he wasn't supposed to tell the football coaches who were being threatened. He wasn't supposed to tell other teachers. He was only supposed to tell school administrators. There are certain protocols that Charles Ware says that were ignored. And now it would appear, he says, that he has been fired by the district for talking about this and warning others. Part of what he says is that he's frustrated by this whole thing, but he does say that he has had some positive meetings with the district since he was fired. But here's part of what he says.
And when I talked to the director of schools yesterday, he said that he spoke with the principal on the Monday after the threat and that he believed that the principal handled it correctly, but he did tell me, based on everything that I have told him and based on everything that has come out over the last month, that there would be a thorough investigation into the matter because now he's questioning, whether things were done properly.
So it turned out, by the way, to be a viable threat. That was part of the conversation was, okay, so was it a legit threat or was it not? And it turned out that it was a legit threat. So to just put a final cap on this, Ware was fired, he says, for calling out the lack of following of protocols for a threat to a school. He says that he was disciplined and obviously fired. The two kids that also gave a warning, they were also disciplined and told not to spread rumors, and it turned out to be a legit threat. So now Ware, he reached out to me. To his credit, he is, and all I want to know is the truth. People were attacking me for allowing the guy on the air making these allegations. And listen, I'm sorry, but if there is a school administrator within our listening area that is being accused by, in my opinion, a respected teacher not following the proper protocols when a threat was made, that's news. And that needs to be discussed. And if the local media isn't going to cover it appropriately, then I'm going to, and heaven forbid, something horrible happened and nobody wanted the truth to come out. I don't know what the truth is. During the interview, I said many times that the school is in an awkward position because they can't really defend themselves because it is a personnel matter. And it's also a matter where, a kid was being dealt with. And so the school's in an awkward situation. We don't know what really happened. I'm just trying to find the truth. Teachers have been posting on the Facebook page of the teacher, Charles Ware, also sending him notes that he is also posting on his Facebook supporting the principal. So there's a lot of, he said, she said. I've had a lot of people reach out to me, just being perfectly honest, that said that they can corroborate what Charles Ware is saying. And Ware is, again, to his credit, posting people that disagree with him on his own Facebook page. He just wants the truth to come out.
Yeah, I've seen a couple posts from a couple teachers. I'm not going to name any names or give specifics, but they seem kind of generic, broad brushing. Our principal and the assistant principals are great people. They would never do anything to put the students in harm's way, with one of these teachers claiming that everything turned out to be a rumor anyway. So there's going to continue to be some kind of, I guess, conflicting tension until the board makes a declaration of some sort, because now you've kind of got, I wouldn't say infighting, but you've got people on two sides of the argument that are both part of this school system.
Listen, it's quite possible a mistake was made. Yeah. It is quite possible an innocent mistake was made. It might be a difference of opinion as to whether or not this threat was real. But to me, the whole point is that, you said that these folks are saying, well, it was just a rumor. Okay, but it turns out they said that it was a viable threat. So it was a credible threat. So it may have been a rumor, but somewhere along the line, it turned out to be a credible threat. So all I'm saying is I will always err on the side of caution. And if we have a school that did not follow the proper protocols, then we need to look at those protocols and figure out where they may have gone wrong. That's all I'm saying. Because we need to make sure that the kids are safe. And whether or not the kids were safe at, MJ Middle School, I hopefully they were, hopefully they are, hopefully they will be in the future. But if there's questions to be asked, then we need to know those answers. And Charles Ware, for his part, again, all he is saying is that if people disagree with me, I'm going to post them on my Facebook. If you want to go find them on Facebook, knock yourself out. There are two, and I said there are two and actually three sides to every story. There's, my side, your side, and the actual truth. And so hopefully as the investigation continues into not only if this was indeed a credible threat, which it sounds like it was, but also were the proper protocols followed, yes or no, and what changes need to be made to ensure that if they were not, then how do we make sure that next time they are? It is 6:57. Joan's got the news coming up at 7 o'clock. Joan.
Yeah, coming up here, NES has made some changes since that disastrous storm in January. We're going to tell you what changes they're now implementing coming up here at 7 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning now, 7:01, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories, the full forecast, and traffic in 5 minutes. The U.S. carried out new airstrikes in southern Iran overnight, shooting down 4 one-way attack drones that had posed a threat around the Strait of Hormuz. They also shot down a ground control site in Bandar Abbas that was about to launch a 5th drone. ABC News quoting one official who called the strikes measured, purely defensive, and intended to maintain the ceasefire. Now, in response, Iran claims that it attacked the U.S. base from which American forces launched those strikes, calling it a serious warning to the enemy. And Iran may be attacking Kuwait once again. The Kuwaiti army said in a post on X that its air defenses were responding to hostile missile and drone threats. Here in Nashville, NES is speeding up tree trimming efforts in spite of the many customers' complaints about how they're ripping trees apart. Channel 4's Brendan Tierney.
NES leaders say they can't slow down tree trimming right now without risking large outages in the next major storm. At this morning's board meeting, the power company announced they're going to start trimming trees across the city every 3 years instead of the current 4-year cycle. They're also starting to incorporate AI and other data into their systems to help find dangerous trees outside of the normal trimming schedule. But they are scaling back what they cut instead of trimming everything from the ground up to the sky near every power pole.
We're going to do a more horseshoe trim that will keep a 15-foot radial clearance below the lines. So the intent is that we will leave as much vegetation out on the system as possible that does not have a negative impact on our reliability.
Just last week, Metro Council members called for NES to pause its tree trimming program, but CEO Teresa Broyles-Applin and other leaders say that would put them even further behind schedule.
And a Texas news anchor still has his job, amazingly, after making a weird Death to America joke. James Epler is his name. He was reading a story about a new Oreo cookie, BTS edition, which honors the K-pop group with a purple-colored cookie. So listen to what he had to say about this.
Cookie's wafer is BTS signature color, purple. The wafers are also engraved with one of 13 designs, which spell out a message to fans when put together, and that is Death to America, which I think is really strange. No, it's not.
Epler, who's also a professor at Texas Tech, just brushed off that remark. Many fans, however, demanded an apology and called for his firing.
You know what the purple could stand for is the average hair of your female progressive these days.
Yes.
Because they all have purple hair.
They do. They
So,
do.
I don't know why that is, but whatever.
What, Death to America? I mean, honestly, I don't know how the guy still has a job. So market numbers report here brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. Stocks in the pre-market here trading lower with the Dow futures down 99 points. NASDAQ futures down 125. The S&P futures are minus 18. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Looks like most of the roads are doing well this morning. No delays to speak of on 24, 65, or 40. You do have a widening work going on I-65 in both directions between Vietnam Veterans Boulevard and Louisville Highway. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.708 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super text line is open. 615-737-9986. 615-737 WWTN. All right, so I want to make sure that I have this right. The New York Knicks, Joan, is basketball.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they have won some sort of a championship. I don't know basketball. I don't like
Eastern
basketball.
Conference Finals.
So
they won the East.
So did you hear what happened to Kathy Hochul?
I did.
Okay.
I love this.
So this is amazing. This is one of the, well, let me just play it real quick. This is Kathy Hochul. Now, she's the governor for the fine state of New York, where the Knicks play. And by the way, I'm just being sort of silly about the Knicks, but they won a championship or whatever. But anyway, so apparently Donald Trump actually said that he is a Knicks fan because somebody asked him about it, and he lived in New York for a long time. So Kathy Hochul, the governor, was asked about this.
Governor, what do you make of President Trump wanting to come to the NBA Finals? And if the Knicks are possibly playing, do you think that you would go and you would also sit no? No. What do you think of him saying he's a lifelong Knicks fan? I think that's how the Times reported it.
I asked him to name the starting lineup from 1993 championship team and see how he does.
So apparently the Knicks have not won a championship since, I guess, the 70s?
1973.
1973.
She was 20 years off.
Oh, what's 20 years? Where if you're a Democrat, you're always off.
They had a good run in the playoffs in the 90s. I mean, Patrick Ewing and all that. Like they were a great team, but they did not have a championship in 93, Kathy.
Did they do anything? Okay, let's give Kathy Hochul the benefit of the doubt. Because I love that she's just automatically going to be against anything Donald Trump stands for. This, Joan, what I would say is a classic example of Trump derangement syndrome leading to your downfall. And we've seen this with members of the media, politicians as well, where they have to be on the opposite side of anything Donald Trump stands for, and I think this is obviously an example.
92-93 New York Knicks, coached by Pat Riley, legend, finished 60-22, winning the Atlantic Division, led by star center Patrick Ewing, earned the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, but lost to the Chicago Bulls in the Eastern Conference Finals. In fact, that was like their nemesis was Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Patrick Ewing, John Starks. Like that was a rivalry in the East in the 90s. It was before I was born, and I know that.
So why couldn't Kathy Hochul just say, you know what? Cool. Like, Donald Trump, glad he's a Knicks fan. This is the one thing we can all agree on is yay for the Knicks. But instead, she's got to be, mean about it. I was going to call her the B word, but whatever. And try and dunk on Donald Trump. And instead, she makes herself look silly. So to me, this is another case of TDS gone wrong. Whatever. I find it funny. Has she come out with any kind of a clarification on that? I mean, Donald Trump should actually dunk on her. But you know what? He doesn't really need to. And how many times have we seen this where members of the media have actually destroyed their own journalistic credibility by going after Trump ad nauseum, and oftentimes they're wrong in some of the things that they report? We've seen that many, many times. E. Jean Carroll. So Joan, let's talk about E. Jean Carroll. Apparently now the DOJ is investigating E. Jean Carroll. I don't really know the story, so you do. And what are they investigating? For people that don't know, E. Jean Carroll, during the first Trump administration, she accused Donald Trump of sexually assaulting her, raping her in a dressing room, in a department store dressing room. Way back in, was it the 80s?
Mid-1990s.
The mid-1990s, many, many years ago. No proof. Never went to the police. Never told anybody, as far as I know, at the store. No evidence whatsoever. No security cameras. It was just like her word against the president's, and she came out with this accusation after many, many years. And I think this was in the middle of the whole #MeToo thing as well, if I'm not mistaken. And she said this, of course, if I'm, again, not mistaken, I think she made the accusation in a book. So Donald Trump was asked about all of this, and Donald Trump basically said, number one, she's not my type. Number two, he says that he didn't do it. He says, I think I met her all of once at some sort of a party somewhere. And I think at some point he may have said that she was crazy. But she sued him for defamation. And there was actually I think it was a jury trial, ended up giving her a settlement of like, what, $80 million or something like that. And it's absolutely insane. All Donald Trump was doing was defending himself and saying, no, I did not rape this woman. She's not my type, but I did not rape this woman in a Bergdorf, whatever it was, department store.
It wasn't a settlement. It was an $88.3 million judgment by two separate civil juries.
Yep. Okay. So, and I don't understand how they justified that kind of a judgment against Donald Trump when all he was doing was defending himself.
They found him liable for sexual abuse by forcible digital penetration and defamation.
Right.
And that was in trial number 2. And trial number 1 was the defamation damages. So it was compensatory plus punitive, $18.3 million in compensatory plus $65 million in punitive damages by him saying that I didn't assault her.
Right. I mean, that just the craziest thing ever. So now the DOJ, Joan, is going after E. Jean Carroll. So we'll talk about exactly what they're doing coming up. It is coming up on 7:15. Time to check the roads on WTN.
No problems on 24 or Veterans Boulevard and Louisville Highway. I'm Christy O'Brien.
As far as your weather goes, some sun, some clouds, a possible thunderstorm as well in some parts of the mid-state. And we've got a high of about 85, 86, 87 degrees. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News. All right, so the DOJ going after E. Jean Carroll, and what is the reasoning behind going after E. Jean Carroll, except that she probably needs to be thrown in a loony bin?
Yeah, so this is ABC's News chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce.
Sources tell ABC News the investigation is allegedly centered around whether Carroll committed perjury during her civil lawsuits against Trump. Carroll was awarded a $5 million civil judgment in 2023 that found Trump liable for sexually abusing her in a department store dressing room in the mid-1990s and defaming her.
So that's what this is all about, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, do you remember when she did the Anderson Cooper interview on CNN?
Oh, I sure do. Do we have that audio?
I have a little bit of it, the part that I just found the most interesting.
Okay, go
I'm
ahead.
not the victim.
You don't feel like a victim?
I was not thrown on the ground and ravished, which the word rape carries so many sexual connotations. This was not sexual. It hurt.
Well, I think most people think of rape as it is a violent assault. It is not.
I think most people think of rape as being sexy.
Oh, God. Do you remember when Anderson Cooper went right to break?
Yeah, so here's the end of that. Yeah.
Let's take a short break.
Think of the fantasies.
We're just going to take a quick break. If you can stick around, we'll talk more on the other side.
I'm sorry, but that never gets old.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, the DOJ, so what are they going to try to do? So if they can prove that, because is that whole thing, I have not kept up with the story. So she got some money from Donald Trump, I think, but is that still under appeal? Where did that whole thing go? He has not given her.
He appealed it to the Supreme Court.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are we still waiting for the Supreme Court to make a judgment on this?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Justice
come on,
Department
man.
launching a criminal investigation into E. Jean Carroll, the magazine columnist who successfully sued President Trump for sexual abuse and defamation.
So that
Yeah.
I don't know why that kept on going there,
do we have any idea when the Supreme Court is going to decide on this? And by the way, what happens if the DOJ can prove that she committed perjury? Well, then could she actually, go to prison?
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
Well, it's centering around. She stated that no one has paid for her counsel at all. But it turns out Reid Hoffman pretty much paid for all of her attorneys.
Yeah.
So that was a lie.
Yeah,
You're not allowed to.
Reid Hoffman, and I think there are some other organizations involved, but I think that a lot of them came back to Reid Hoffman, who, by the way, is one of these big, Trump-hating leftists.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
Well, and the business was based in Chicago, so federal agencies in Chicago are starting combing through stuff. Because it's basically in a 2022 deposition, she stated no one else was paying her legal fees. But then the later disclosures revealed that a nonprofit backed by Reid Hoffman covered some of her legal expenses, and her team disclosed the funding to the court right before the trial. Trump's attorneys tried to say, oh, we're just finding out about this. But of course, this judge doesn't care.
Well, okay. So, obviously noticing a pattern because her name came up earlier this week because just like E. Jean Carroll, the lawyers for Kilmar Abrego Garcia are also being paid for by some of these organizations. If I remember correctly, and I could be wrong on this, but one of these organizations may also be connected to Reid Hoffman. So basically, and if not, they're these, nonprofit organizations. And so what happens is they are paying the legal fees for some of these people that either, like E. Jean Carroll, just want to attack Donald Trump and say that, he sexually assaulted her inside of a dressing room. And so you come out and you say this and, it's going to make Donald Trump look bad. We'll pay all of your legal fees. So it's something that they want to do to try to bring down Donald Trump. So you have all of these, rich people and these nonprofits that have millions of dollars. They pay for the legal fees for these folks. And as far as Kilmar Abrego Garcia goes, and we talked about this earlier this week, where you have, again, nonprofits and some of these really rich leftists, maybe they're Republicans who just hate Donald Trump, but they'll pay for the legal fees of a Kilmar Abrego Garcia because his case was the case that the Trump administration, really, it was emblematic of the Trump administration and their want to have mass deportation. And so,
do you want to hear another gem from E. Jean Carroll?
Sure.
She was recently on CNN and she wrote a book about her life, I guess.
Right.
And the anchor asked her, you write about in the book how close you were sitting to him in the courtroom. And here she is talking about that.
You write about it in the book.
Oh, geez, hang on one second. I sped it up, of course, so that I could play it back quickly.
Apparently, she's had some Wally's Bean Machine espresso.
She has.
I think that's what that was, E. Jean Carroll.
Yeah. Courtroom. Bring us into that. I know you write about it in the book.
I could have turned around, Pam, and if I reached back, I could have grabbed Donald Trump by the hair. That is how close we were sitting. I could hear every snort he was making, every snarl, every hiss, every click of his tongue, every moan, every groan. I could hear his arms flapping on the desk. He sounded like a walrus. I could hear almost everything.
She is nuts.
What was going on in that courtroom?
Doesn't sound like terrified by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
And in this clip, she's in a room that is filled with junk. And I mean junk.
Oh, are you saying like she's a hoarder?
I think she might be.
Okay.
there's stuff everywhere. Books.
Yeah.
It's just there's a rowing machine. It's just filled with junk.
Do you know, I always wonder, people who do hits on television,
Yeah.
when because I've seen this and I've noticed this, where in the background they've got all kinds of junk, and it's like, you know who? Katie Couric. I've talked about this before.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if she's fixed it, but Katie Couric actually does a podcast of sorts, and it's like her background is just terrible. It's like she's got a closet in the background. And it's like, if you're doing this every day and you're Katie Couric, really, you can't get a better background or have a background, within Zoom or whatever it is that you're doing that looks better than just a bunch of junk in the background. And so it seems like, maybe what E. Jean Carroll needs to do with all of those millions she may perhaps eventually get from Donald Trump is, get, what do they call them? A big old trash bin and just throw some stuff away. So
back it up right to the house.
Real quick, by the way, people are saying the Knicks did not even win the Eastern Conference that year. So I don't know.
They made it too, and then they lost to the Bulls.
Oh, got it.
And so Fox tried to give her some credit. Fox, it's possible she was talking about the 1994 finals, which wrapped up the 93-94 season in which the Knicks lost to the Houston Rockets. But apparently her office released a statement saying that this was the press office claimed she was baiting Trump into pretending that the team won the finals, a classic 4D chess move.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
A classic. So every time, hey Joan. So every time I get something wrong, I'm just going to tell people it was a classic 4D chess move, is what it was.
I was seeing if you would make the mistake.
Exactly right. Oh my goodness gracious, that is so funny. All right, it is 7:24, Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and got a lot more straight ahead. Joan's got the news at 7:30. Joan.
Yeah, Alabama says it's taking its redistricting case right to the Supreme Court. We've got that coming up at 7:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. Dan Mandis here for my friends at Mark Spain Real Estate. Avoid the headaches of a traditional home sale and move on your timeline with the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. Selling your home can indeed be overwhelming. That's why who you work with matters. Now, my friends at Mark Spain Real Estate, they can help you sell your home hassle-free without the stress of putting your home on the market. Mark Spain Real Estate has been in the business for 30 years, and they know what matters most to their clients, a quick sale and maximum profit. Now, one of their clients, Chris, said selling our 16-year-old home was quick thanks to the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. Says we avoided the stress of showings, constant cleanings, and negotiations. Mark Spain's guaranteed offer was beyond what we were hoping for. Now you could be next. Mark Spain Real Estate is the #1 most reviewed real estate company in the U.S. with over 13,000 five-star reviews. Trust them to sell your home fast and for top dollar. Find out what the guaranteed offer would be on your home. There's no obligation. Call them at 855-299-SOLD, 855-299-SOLD. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
Good morning, now 7:31. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. It has been 100 days since Nashville's deadly ice storm began. NES is announcing some changes. CEO Teresa Broyles-Applin says the phone system can now handle 1,000 calls at a time. They have updated the restoration time system, and they've also increased the tree trimming budget.
This recovery work is not about responding to a single isolated event. It's more about building a strong operating model for a much more demanding storm environment. We're not seeing storms taper off at all. They're coming at us even more strongly than in the past.
As for rate increases, NES is considering a 4.5% increase in the fall of next year. Alabama has asked the Supreme Court to allow its newly designed congressional map to be implemented. On Tuesday, a 3-judge panel ruled that the state could not use that map despite it having been approved in 2023. With it, Democrats would likely have just 1 House seat. Republicans would have 6. The Justice Department launching a criminal investigation into E. Jean Carroll, the former magazine columnist who accused President Trump of sexual assault. Alex Mullen is ABC's Justice Department reporter.
It's unclear what precedent there is for the Justice Department getting involved in a civil deposition that does not relate in any way to a statement that's related to federal law enforcement. Again, the Justice Department was in no way at any point involved in this lawsuit that was brought by E. Jean Carroll until President Trump sought to have the case dismissed.
President Trump has asked the Supreme Court to overturn a $5 million judgment in that case. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. So there is a crash in Whites Creek this morning. It's on the eastbound side of 24 past Old Hickory Boulevard North. 2 left lanes are blocked off by it. You've got a crash as well on 40 eastbound. This is in Pegram past McCrory Lane, exit 192. The right lane is blocked off there. Nashville on Fessler's Lane at Rundle Avenue. You'll find a crash. Also on Highway 100 at Old Hickory Boulevard East. A crash there involving some injuries. Normal volume delays across the area on all other places this morning. 24 westbound on 40 as you make your way west as well, and on 65 and 24 coming in from the north. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.737, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, great news for hunters. Joan, I don't know if you heard this. I know that you like to hunt big game.
Oh, yeah, sure.
With your bazookas and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff that you have. You know what? That wasn't, Joan, the response that I was expecting out of you. And so I didn't have anywhere to go except talk about your bazookas. Moving right along.
Oh,
so
dun-dun-dun.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whatever. All right. So, but Donald Trump is actually doing something for Tennessee hunters. So listen to this real quick. So Sam found a story where I guess you have these wildlife refuges where you have, all of this federal land where hunting has not been allowed, but now the president has expanded the land where you can hunt.
Yeah, and removal of unnecessary restrictions as well. Interior Secretary Doug Burgum ordered federal agencies, NPS, US, FWS, et cetera, to roll back rules on dozens of sites, around 76, that already permit hunting. And these changes would include allowing tree stands, hunting dogs, expanded shooting areas, and game cleaning in certain facilities, which aligns more closely with a lot of state wildlife regulations. And here in Tennessee, it would impact the Big South Fork, National River and Recreation Area, the Obed Wild and Scenic River Area, Tennessee National Wildlife Refuges, the one in Chickasaw, Cross Creeks, Hatchie, Lower Hatchie, Reelfoot Lake. Basically, it's going to expand around the country about 92 million acres.
So this is going to drive the left nuts because they hate hunting.
Even though there's going to be regulations, you're going to have tag limits, you're going to have counts on everything. It's about population control so that we don't have things like in Vancouver, Canada. They said, hey, you got to stop hunting the bears. But guess what? The bears have now come into the city of Vancouver.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to thin the herd.
Yeah.
So they got to start hunting those big old dangerous hogs that they have in Texas and other places as well.
I'll tell you what, it's on my bucket list. Have you seen like the hunting excursions they offer for that kind of stuff?
No.
They will take you up in a helicopter, let you operate a ridiculous sized caliber rifle or even automatic.
Shoot from a helicopter?
Yeah, you shoot hogs from a helicopter, and that's also in Georgia. Because the meat's also it's okay. I mean, I would put it up there with like bison. Like it's like, oh, it's good
Joan,
for you, but it's not.
As a non-hunter, and I'm a non-hunter, and you're clearly a non-hunter. So is it sport to hunt a hog from a helicopter? Because that doesn't sound, I don't care about the hogs, trust me, but that doesn't sound very sporty. Sporty. So if you are, hunting and it's a sport, as hunters say, that sounds a little unfair to the hog. Not that I care, but
well, they can top speeds of 30 miles an hour. So are you really going to be catching it? They're terrible. They're invasive for farmland. So if you really want to get them dead, you should probably follow them from a helicopter, firing a large caliber bullet at them.
Me, Sam, not you.
I want to do it. I want to do it so bad.
Listen, you go right on ahead, Sam. I think that'd be fun. How much is it?
Probably several $1,000s. You got to sign a waiver to be put up in a helicopter.
Okay. Well, you have fun with that.
You don't want to do it with me?
Can you take video?
No.
No one wants to see Dan Mandis clipped to the side of a helicopter trying to hit.
I want to see you doing that.
I will be pulling the bird to the side a little bit due to my size and stature.
So actually, I do believe that would actually be kind of fun, but I don't have the couple $1,000s to waste. But you know what?
But once you do that, so you kill the hog, whatever it is, then you have to land the helicopter to pick it up. I mean, are you doing it just for sport? Or are you doing it to eat?
It's population control of an invasive species, so that's why it's more necessary to get them dead, and then if you can, salvage some of the meat.
That's a lot of pork chops and bacon.
Yeah,
it's a different kind of pork though. It's almost red. It's not like pig. Very different.
I don't think I would.
I'll pass.
Like I said, I'd equate it to like bison.
Hard pass. Anyway, whatever. Moving right along. So congratulations, hunters. You have more land to hunt. We do have some war updates on Iran. More bombing on our part overnight as a peace deal supposedly is near. We're talking about how, more shots fired, more bombs dropped as the ceasefire does continue. So here's basically what happened is that Iran was sending drones our way, so we had to defend ourselves against the drones. And so we hit not only this military site where the drones were being fired from, I think we knocked the drones out of the sky. And this military site that we hit was actually a threat to our troops. So Iran hit one of our military bases, and Kuwait was also attacked, but Kuwait was able to knock down the drone or the missile that was being sent to Kuwait. The bottom line is that while Iran continues to negotiate in good faith, they're still trying to attack American soldiers, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But this is what the Iranians do, which is why I don't trust them, which is why there's a big part of my thought process that we just need to finish them off militarily, as Donald Trump said yesterday. Again, we say that these were purely defensive in nature, designed to protect the Strait of Hormuz, and I would agree with that. We are still, our economy is still far, far, far better than Iran's. That is part of the conversation. As far as the Strait of Hormuz goes, we are producing massive amounts of oil on our side. We are still getting a lot of oil from Venezuela as well. Our economy, while it's understood that gas prices are high, we've got other challenging economic indicators. Our economy is nowhere near as bad as Iran's, whose economy and oil infrastructure does remain in free fall. Now, that's just setting the stage for, the very latest. I don't know what's happening with this supposed peace deal that has been negotiated. We keep seeing that Iran is saying, well, no, what the United States is saying about this negotiated peace deal is not actually true. And now Donald Trump has come out and said there was a story out of Iran that said that Iran would get to help control the Strait of Hormuz. And we have said that is not true. So there's a lot of stuff being leaked. This was Donald Trump yesterday talking about video. This was Donald Trump yesterday talking about a possible timeline.
Well, I think we're doing very well. I think starting to give us the things that they have to give us. And if they do, that's great. And if they won't, then the man on my left is going to finish them off.
Is there a time frame in your mind?
What?
Is there a time frame in your mind for?
I mean, it happens quickly. The problem is every time I mention a time frame, for instance, I see, we've been doing this for a few months. Vietnam lasted 19 years. Korea lasted 8 years. Afghanistan lasted many years. They were all many, many years, and we're into it for a few months. And I read about you people like you. What's taking so long? But we're in it.
So that is President Trump defending the length of time. We Americans clearly are an impatient bunch. And one of the things that Donald Trump said, people are fact checking him on, is Korea, the fighting of Korea. That lasted 3 years. Some will say that the prelude to the fighting and then what happened after the fighting was over, that total time lasted 8 years. But most people will tell you that the Korean War only lasted 3 years. It was 3 years of fighting, whatever. But the other thing the president said is between Venezuela and Iran, he's actually very proud of our military accomplishments, and we should be. I've got that part of the story straight ahead. It is 7:45. Time to check the roads on WTN. Sun and clouds, possibly a thunderstorm today, and a high of 87. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk. I know that it's taking a long time. I know that the president keeps saying patience, patience, patience. But, you know, for a lot of people, patience is beginning to wear thin. And the president, again, talking about all of that. He's trying to keep all of this in perspective for not only himself, but yes, the American people as well. Talking about the timeline, he's saying, you know what, I'm not going to worry about a timeline. But, you know, he said, bear in mind that we've actually, as a nation in this war, couple it with what happened with Venezuela, we're actually doing pretty well.
We've been very capable. I mean, when you think of it, we took over Venezuela in one day. We have done a similar job, but we said, well, give them a little chance at the request of somebody that we greatly respect from Pakistan, the Field Marshal and the Prime Minister. They've been great. They asked us, would we pause the war for a little while because they'd like to, so we'll do that. But we had them beat. They're, you know, no better now. We could close that out very quickly. If we can do it in a different way, that'd be good. If we get everything we want, but we could close that out very, very quickly, and we may have to. I don't think so, but we may have to.
And that is Donald Trump saying, listen, Iran keeps messing around. And so if they keep messing around, and it does seem like they are messing around, this is my problem with the whole thing, is we seem to be negotiating in good faith, and clearly Iran is not. So I think that was a bit of a warning from the president yesterday on how we may have to take more military action with Iran if the negotiations fail. I think that's a pretty good Daily Dan poll question, Sam. Do you believe the negotiations are failing with Iran? Let's ask people that question, because I think at this point, I think that is a very legitimate question. Maybe it's, how do you feel the negotiations with Iran are going, and you give them some various answers. But I don't believe the negotiations are going well. I mean, we keep hearing that they're going well, but then we find out that they're not going so well. And we've talked about that before. But, you know, there is a report, again, out of Iran yesterday that a peace deal on the table would have allowed Iran and Oman to control the Strait of Hormuz. The White House came out immediately and said there is no way in heck. This is from the Washington Examiner. The Trump administration responded to the emergence of the alleged proposal, saying on social media, this report from Iranian-controlled media is not true, and that memorandum of understanding they released is a complete fabrication, saying nobody should believe what Iranian state media is putting out. Facts matter. That was the White House's response. Now, during the president's cabinet meeting yesterday, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, he did reiterate that point.
Mr. President, your preference is told us repeatedly, as always, to negotiate these things and to figure out if you can have agreements. Diplomacy is always the first option. And we continue to work on that through your envoys, Mr. Woodcoff and Kushner and others, the vice president, who've been very involved. And if there's an agreement to be made, we want that to be made. I think there's been some progress and some interest, and we'll see over the next few hours and days whether progress could be made. I just want to remind everybody, Mr. President, you know this well, you have other options available to you if that doesn't work. But the bottom line is that we prefer the negotiated diplomatic route, and we're going to give it every chance to succeed. I know you're giving it every chance to succeed, Mr. President. But here's the bottom line, because I keep getting asked, what is this all about? It's very simple. Iran and these people in charge of Iran can never have a nuclear weapon, and they will never have a nuclear weapon, and they most certainly will not have one as long as you're President of the United States. On that point, it's very clear.
Do you know what's interesting? One of the super texters brought this up, and it is such a great point. Whenever the stock market seems to be faltering or oil goes up too high, you start hearing the stories about how we're close to some sort of an agreement with Iran, and suddenly the price of oil goes down and the stock market goes up. It's like, Joan, what is it Bush said? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was fool me once, shame on you. You fool me, I can't get fooled again.
Whatever Bush said, it was funny as all get out. And but anyway, but I think that's a valid point. It's like, how many times will the stock market, go up and go down, go up and go down on all of these stories that negotiations.
Tennessee that says, "Fool me once, shame on you. If fool me, we can't get fooled again."
I find that so funny. Because, I think we can all relate to George Bush in that moment. Well, I can certainly relate to George Bush in that moment. Anyway, but the point is that we keep seeing the price of oil go down, which is certainly great. The stock market goes up. That is certainly great. But, we just keep getting fooled with all of these notions, all of these rumors or stories that the negotiations are going well. But there's a lot of reasons, obviously, why the American people are impatient. Consumer confidence is low. Gas prices are high. The number of families experiencing food insecurity is on the rise. That is part of what is going on in the news today. So there are very real reasons why the American people want this over with. And there's nothing wrong with that. But, when you look at Iran's economy, it's a lot worse than ours, obviously. And Donald Trump says this is part of our strategy.
It looks like they want to just make a deal. They have. I don't think they have a choice. They're just going back to the internet because they're getting clobbered. Their economy is in free fall. They have 250% inflation. Their money has no value. Their whole economic system is broken down.
Yep. I mean, that is certainly true. He is still talking, by the way, about other countries being forced to join the Abraham Accords. Yesterday, he escalated that thought by saying, maybe we don't make this deal if they don't sign.
No, I would like to have the countries we were talking about, with Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, and the others, we would like to have them immediately join and Steve Witkoff is working on that with Jared and some others, but would like to have them join the Abraham Accords. It'll be historic if they do it. And I think they owe that to us, to be honest. I think, because that really would be a tremendous sign. And I think those countries owe it to us. Steve, are you going to get them to sign?
We're definitely pushing it, Mr. President.
I'm not sure we should make the deal if they don't sign. You want to know the truth? If they don't sign to join the Abraham Accords, I don't know that we have countries in there already. UAE, great countries, bold countries, and it's turned out to be so good, so effective.
One of the things that President Trump is doing is, of course, that is a message to all of these nations that he's willing to walk away from this deal if Saudi Arabia and Iran and some of these other Middle Eastern nations don't sign on to the Abraham Accords. I don't believe that he would actually walk away from this deal. I just don't. This is what Donald Trump does, folks. He swings for the fences. Would he actually let the deal with Iran die if Saudi Arabia and Iran refuse to sign the accords? I'm going to say this, he better not. But, everybody would benefit from them signing the Abraham Accords. Israel obviously would. These Middle Eastern countries would as well. But think about what he said. These countries owe it to us to sign. Now, I get what the president is saying there, because all of these countries have been attacked by Iran, of course, after we attacked them. But Iran really is the scourge of the Middle East. And you've got the United Arab Emirates, you've got Saudi Arabia, you've got Oman, you've got Qatar, you've got all of these nations that they're frustrated with Iran because the Middle East will never be what the Middle East could be as long as Iran is, number one, attacking other Middle Eastern nations, but also as long as Iran is funding terrorism. And so if Trump comes in and he can make Iran basically go legit, and I've talked about that before, getting Iran to go legit, sell oil on the open market, make a ton of money, and everybody's happy, well, then the Middle East becomes far, far more powerful and far better than it is right now. And so I see where Donald Trump says they would owe it to me. They owe it to me. If we can legit Iran, they owe it to us. But I mean, I will be the first one to say, and I know a lot of you people are saying it right now on the text line. You're probably driving along in your car. You're saying the same thing. Iran doesn't necessarily care about the money that they make. Their purpose is what they believe is far higher, which is essentially spreading jihad around the world. It is 7:56 on Super Talk 99.7. Joan has the news coming up at 8. Joan.
Yeah, we've got the latest on what's happening between Iran and the U.S. this morning. A little escalation, you may call it. I've got the details coming up here at 8 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, if you need an HVAC company you can count on my company, Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Hey, it's Dan Mandison. Every single month, they've got multiple ways to save you money and keep you cool during the summer months. Now, right now, you can take advantage of special financing on new HVAC systems with up to 12 months, no payment, and no interest. No prepayment penalty either, and approvals, well, they're going to vary by credit. Now, here's a great deal. You get a free Yeti Tundra 45 cooler when you install a 17 SEER or higher high-efficiency HVAC unit. If you want healthier air, the Healthy Hive exclusive from Busy Bee HVAC gives you an electronic air cleaner and a whole home UV system. Now, regularly, that's going to run you $27.99. Right now, though, you save $500. Is running at $22.99 installed. Plus, Busy Bee is going to handle those TVA rebates for you as well. You could get $800 back on mini split systems, $500 to $800 back on heat pump systems, and even a $50 rebate on AC tune-ups. Call them Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Tell them Dan told you to reach out at 615-775-7833, 615-775-7833, busybeehvac.com.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. The U.S. says the ceasefire is still in place, despite an exchange of missile fire overnight.
A significant development overnight after Iran launched drones toward a commercial vessel attempting to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. A U.S. official tells Fox News that 4 one-way attack drones posed a threat and were shot down. Then a strike was also conducted against a control station near the city of Bandar Abbas that was about to launch a 5th drone. In response, the Iranians launched a drone and missile attack against Kuwait, targeting a U.S. base there, according to Iran's IRGC.
That's Trey Yingst at Fox News. The Pentagon characterizing the attacks as limited and defensive in nature and not an escalation that would collapse the ceasefire. Starting July 1st, you'll have to get your kratom from out of state. A ban on the substance that's called gas station heroin has been okayed by Tennessee lawmakers, but there are concerns about removing kratom from shelves.
One of my biggest concerns is the risk of people going back out to opioids that may have used kratom to get off of opioids.
That's Ashley Krause. She works for an East Tennessee rehab clinic. She also says coming off kratom can be harder than coming off heroin. More arrests related to defrauding Medicaid programs. 2 Minnesota women, Shamso Hassan and Hanan Yousaf, allegedly billed Medicaid for services not provided. The women allegedly offered families a $300 kickback every month if they signed up their kids for autism benefits. The 2 women pocketed $21 million. And a high-level CIA official arrested after his bosses became suspicious about his background. ABC's Olivia Rubin.
$40 million worth of gold bars were found inside the home of a former senior CIA official who's now accused of lying about his past. Federal agents say they raided the Virginia home of David Rush and uncovered more than 300 gold bars, along with millions of dollars in cash and dozens of luxury watches. Court documents describe Rush as a, quote, former senior executive service-level employee with a top-secret security clearance.
To get his job, Rush posed as a highly decorated Navy Reserve captain and Air Force test pilot, and the 2 colleges that he claimed to have graduated from report him never having gone to school there. Market Numbers Report brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. Couple of reports this morning. Core inflation hit an annual rate of 3.3% in April, and that was in line with investors' expectations. But another report put gross domestic product in the first quarter at 1.6%. That was less than expected. Right now, the Dow futures are down 78 points. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Whites Creek, it's a crash on 24 eastbound past Old Hickory Boulevard North. You've got another one this morning in Nashville at Fessler's Lane and Rundle Avenue. Percy Warner Park on Highway 100 at Old Hickory Boulevard, and also in Hermitage on 40, the westbound lanes before Stewart's Ferry Pike. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.807, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. Hope you are doing well, and welcome on in. I had no idea, Joan, how easy it was to rip off the government of the United States, apparently the intelligence agencies, and a couple of colleges as well. That story that you had at the end of your newscast?
Yeah.
So this guy posed as someone who, I guess, did what?
He told them that he was a Navy, he was a decorated Navy Reserve captain and Air Force test pilot. And he also claimed to have gone to 2 colleges, both of which said he was never here. So that's how he got his job.
So this guy worked for the CIA.
Right.
Based on falsifying his resume.
Right.
And he ends up not only working for the CIA, but think about how scary this is. Because I'm assuming if he worked for the CIA, he had some semblance of security.
He had
He
had top level clearance.
Yeah, top level clearance. That is insanity.
Crazy. So the way they caught him was that, now they don't say why he needed this, but apparently for his job, he would ask for and receive gold bars and cash that he would use. It sounds like he would use it to get information from people, or, like in some way like that.
So in other words, he's like using this as barter to get information. Maybe he's like undercover kind of a thing?
Yes. So he's supposed to, once he takes it from the CIA, he's supposed to keep it in a secure location. And for whatever reason, they became suspicious of him, and they went to the location where he was supposed to be keeping it, and it wasn't there.
Oh.
It wasn't there. It was in his home. He had $40 million worth of gold bars stashed in his home. It reminds you of Bob Menendez, right?
Yeah, Gold Bar Bob.
Yeah. And
his son, by the way, is in Congress.
His son is one of the, he's one of the people that
his
keeps showing up.
His son is one of the ones that's out there in New Jersey at that Delaney Detention Center.
Yeah.
And
the media refuses to call him Bob Menendez Jr. because they don't want to taint him with his father's ick. So they just call him Bob Menendez.
Well, being a Democrat is enough of an ick anyway, but whatever. So I'm wondering, how many gold bars?
I did the math.
Did you do the?
Yeah.
Sam, you and I are simpatico, man. All right, so how many gold bars is $40 million?
All right, so the value of one 400-ounce bar is $4,400.
Okay.
So you times that by basically your math of 40 million divided by 1.76 million, which would be the total weight of everything put together, would be 22.7 bars.
No. FBI agents found 303 gold bars that each weighed 2.2 pounds.
Oh, okay. So those are different. These are the standard good delivery gold bars. Apparently weigh a lot more than.
Have you ever seen a gold bar? Has anybody here ever
like in person? No.
I mean, I'm just a humble radio person. I've barely seen $1, let alone a gold bar. What about you, Joan? Never seen a gold bar?
Never seen one.
Sam?
Yeah,
of course.
This guy also
I saw it in the museum.
He also had $2 million in cash and
What?
35 Rolexes.
35?
And other luxury watches.
I wonder how many of those have like listening devices and things. I mean, it's the only thing I can think of at this point. Like, check the guy's shoes. He's probably got a shoe phone.
Like, Get Smart.
It was an actual gadget the CIA produced in the 60s.
Yep. I remember they had him in. Do you know what? Sam's a little young. Do you know what Get Smart is?
They made a movie in 2008 with Steve Carell and Anne Hathaway, yes.
Did you ever see the original Get Smart, the TV show?
Oh, man, that was great. I loved that
Joan,
show.
I don't know, when you grew up, when Joan and I grew up, Sam, you are very lucky because when you grew up, you had 150,000 channels. But when I grew up in the summertime,
the more creative programming.
When I grew up, and in the summertime, because now we're into, summertime, you would have Gilligan's Island, Brady Bunch, Get Smart,
The Partridge Family,
and like Happy Days.
Yeah.
And that's what like your one channel that you were interested in watching would show. Otherwise, you better get used to like soap operas and The Price is Right or Family Feud, which as a kid, I hated all that stuff. So I'd be willing to bet that I have seen every single episode of Get Smart. And it was a good show. I loved the show.
It was.
99. Remember 99?
99 was great.
She may have been my first crush, by the way.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
To Joan's point, I was talking Bankers bars. These are the 1 kilogram gold bars, which is why there were 300 something of them.
So here's how much the CIA didn't pay attention to this guy. Here's another. He also said that he was in the Navy Reserves, so he would take off and go on his reserve duty. And they say that totaled $77,000 in military leave because he lied about being an active member. He was in the Navy. He had a menial job in the Navy, and he was discharged in 2015.
Wow.
They didn't know. They never checked this guy's credentials.
How would that be?
How are they the CIA?
And the American people wonder and worry about China and Iran infiltrating our military.
When was he hired? Has anyone mentioned that?
I was going to say, okay, so here's my question. Because I'm perfectly willing to call out Trump, obviously. Whose administration do we blame for this clearly wrong-headed hire and this lack of checking up on who this guy is?
I'm trying to find out when he was hired.
And for the people that call, the conservatives racist for wanting to investigate fraud, we don't care the color of the skin of the fraudster. This is a white dude that has stolen all this money in gold bars.
2150 says, have you seen $1,000 bill? Is there $1,000 bill?
There used to be. Yeah. We got to find when it went out of.
Yeah, I don't even know. I've never even seen. Is there a $500 bill? I've never even seen a $500 bill. I've seen a $2 bill. 5.
I've got one.
10.
Yeah, first issued in 1861 during the Civil War by the U.S. Bureau of Engraving and Printing and the Treasury Department. High denomination notes like this helped finance large government transactions and wartime efforts. Early versions were legal tender notes. The very first featured Robert Morris, a signer of the Declaration of Independence and early financier of the Revolution. Later designs included DeWitt Clinton.
Mork and Mindy, 6357. People are now,
yes, thank you.
People are now sending in what they watched.
You hit the nostalgia dump button.
I sure did. You know what? All you ever have to do if you want content is just throw out something nostalgic and open up the phone lines. Like that's all. That is like dumb radio 101.
The Brady Bunch was overrated. Your calls now.
Okay, let's be honest. The Brady Bunch was a dumb show. Like the Brady Bunch was a.
I was forced to watch The Partridge Family as a child.
Who did I interviewed I forget who it was, but here we go. Here we go. Super text line is going crazy. But here's the thing about the Brady Bunch. Like, I asked somebody, and I forget who it was, but the Brady Bunch, when I watched it at the time when I was a kid, I remember even saying to my parents, I said to my dad, Dad, is this show as stupid as I think it is? And he said, yeah, son, it is. And I said, why do I like it so much? And my dad's, I don't know, son. Why do you watch this show over and over again? And I remember saying, there's nothing else to watch. Do you know what happened? He bought me a bike.
You know the greatest.
And he told me to go outside.
You know the greatest 70s sitcom didn't even air in the 70s?
What is it?
It aired in the 90s. It was called That 70s Show.
Oh, that 70. I love that 70s show. Just absolutely love it. By the way.
So Joe nails it on the super text line.
Yeah.
He says, if you work in radio, have you seen a $50 bill?
Damn.
No.
That's fair.
No. Joan, radio sucks. Why are we still in it?
I don't know. And why have we been in it for this long?
So long.
What is wrong with us? We could lie about who we are and get a job with the CIA.
That's right. We would actually have, what do they call it? What do the government gets of benefits when they retire?
Nice pension.
Pension.
Yeah.
We'd have a pension.
We'd have a pension.
The thing that Mamdani's putting on hold in New York, paying out pensions to people.
Yep. That's exactly right. There used to be $1 million bill. Did you know that?
There used to be. There's not anymore.
I don't know.
I've had $100,000 every time and again. Candy bar.
Oh, whatever. Dragnet, F Troop or Green Acres. Rooster, you're spot on. F Troop or Green Acres. Although I never really understood the greatness of Green Acres. I never did. F Troop was funny. Hogan's Heroes.
Hogan's Heroes. Love that one.
Married with Children. Not when I was a kid. Not when I was a kid. So June Cleaver was somebody's first crush, which is what I just saw. Joe, did you have a first crush? And then I'm going to ask you, Sam. Did you have a first crush? Like when you were, 99, I was probably 10, 11.
Yeah. My first crush wasn't even a real person.
Who was it?
It was Speed Racer.
A cartoon.
A cartoon.
A Japanese cartoon at that.
Cartoon.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh, my. Very great success for you.
Keep Joan away from anime.
He was great. He was great.
Does when John wants to get you in the mood, does he break out some anime?
He puts his wrist up and shoots something out of his wrist.
Whoa.
It's great.
It's Spider-Man.
I get it. No,
Yeah,
I
but
got
didn't he do that too?
I got the reference.
I don't know.
Who? No, Speed Racer didn't do
no,
that.
I guess he didn't do that. I don't know.
So, did you have the hots for Speed Racer or Spider-Man?
Yeah, right. Maybe
conflicting stories.
Well, if I remember right, Speed Racer wore like very tight Speed Racery kind of stuff. Yeah. Okay, so John, if you're listening, I'm going to get you for Christmas a Speed Racer Halloween costume
to
make sure you Joan all fired up.
The neckerchief on there too.
The neckerchief or whatever that. Yes, I forgot about that
cars.
too.
Yeah.
Dan, what about you?
I just said one of my first crushes was 99 on, but see now my timeline is getting all messed up.
Yeah.
Because you had 99 on Get Smart, but I also liked, Brady Bunch and Marsha, Jan, and Cindy.
Oh, all three? Well, isn't that kind of weird? Like all three sisters?
Joan, they were sisters. Come on. I'm just kidding. Not Cindy. She was too young at the time. Moving right along.
Thank you, Nolene. Noeline, who said her sister loved Speed Racer too.
I'll give you a layup on that. Character in a movie. I still don't know if I should say the name out loud. Character in a James Bond movie.
Yeah, you don't have to. We all know.
Thank you.
I don't. What is it?
Yes, you do.
Yeah. Was it Goldmember? Was that the name of the movie?
What? Say it to me in my headphones. I will be the arbiter of whether or not we can.
You can't
nope,
say it.
Can't do that.
Nope.
Yeah, I can't say it.
Octopi? Nope, can't say it. What? I didn't say anything. So for me, I said no. I didn't say the whole word.
He said 8 P's.
Yeah. Anyway, so whatever. The Girls on Hee Haw says 31.99. 3191 says, first crush, The Girls on Hee Haw. You had Bewitched, Little House on the Prairie. Marianne, of course. From Marianne from Gilligan's Island. I'm getting a phone call. Stop
You're
it.
getting a phone call?
Yeah. Does
it say scam likely?
Yeah, potential spam.
Yeah.
I don't know whoever potential spam is, but she keeps calling me from different numbers. And by the way, I know that people are asking me about the Wicked Witch of the West. I'm not going to bring that up as far as crushes go.
Yeah.
Although, When I was in Las Vegas, there was a gambling machine, whatever you call them, and
Gambling machine.
when you what do you call them?
Is it the one where you put the coin in and then you pull the lever?
Yeah,
it's called a slot machine.
Slot machine. So there was a Wicked Witch of the West slot machine, and Amy made me take a picture with it.
You didn't play it?
No, I didn't play it. By that time, I'd already lost all my money.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I would imagine you pulled the lever and it would have made the.
Ellie Mae, Daisy Duke is another one.
Oh yeah.
Why did they have Kamala Harris in the machine?
Well, there you go.
Anyway, Aaron says that would be good for the Kamala Harris machine. Ellie Mae, everybody's doing this. I could do this all day. Cheryl Ladd.
John Boy on the Waltons? What? No.
No?
No.
Why? Why not Tomboy?
John Boy.
Okay,
John
at least whoever that was had a crush on like an actual person, Joan. Do you know what we ought to do? Like, remind me to do this. For Valentine's Day, let's play the theme to Speed Racer for Joan.
I was hoping you'd wear an outfit. Helmet and everything. Gloves. Whole nine.
That's John's job. As much weight as I've lost, I don't think I'd look good in some Speed Racer tights. Although if I keep trying, I could.
I was about to say, I think we need to tempt fate there.
That's okay. Because you know what? I would get out of the chair or sit down in my chair and it would the pants would go.
You imagine
like
if it was like all leather and you sat down, you sweat just a little bit and now you can't get up?
I've sweated and I can't get up. Oh. All right, moving right along. We got to go. Yeah, Farrah Fawcett, Sally Struthers. I guess Sally Struthers was good looking in her time.
Miss Kitty on Gunsmoke? Anyone?
I don't remember Miss Kitty on Gunsmoke.
Did they even show these shows in color? Or is this all black and
Elvira,
white television?
6357.
Yeah.
Well done. Yeah, Elvira was, something. Anyway, it's 8:23. Joan's got the news at 8:30. Joan.
Yeah, coming up, we got the latest on what's happening with Iran this morning as an exchange of missile fire continues between the U.S. and Iran. Those stories coming up at 8:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Summertime is almost here, and you don't want to be sidelined with chronic back, neck, or knee pain. If you are, get in touch with my friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. They've always got the latest and greatest technology, and right now, they've got a brand new piece of equipment, a piece of technology called Medical Bay One. No, it's not a new TV drama. It is a brand new way to heal. Now, my buddy Dr. Kevin Mitchell, he designed Medical Bay One himself, and what he has found is that our cells underneath our skin respond to photons of light whether we like it or not. It's innately made by God. And Medical Bay One can help you heal. It's like a futuristic healing machine that massages your body while doing full body lasers using red light, including near infrared. It also, by the way, adds stem cell stimulations for tissue regeneration and uses photons of wavelengths for ultimate healing. All that to say, it's a really cool piece of technology that's going to help you feel better fast. So come on in and check out Medical Bay One. You mention my name, you get access to Medical Bay One, and you get $33 off each visit. That is the Epic Spinal Special. Call them at 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009, painisbad.com.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Full forecast and traffic coming up. The U.S. and Iran are exchanging another round of strikes.
President Trump now claims Iran is negotiating on fumes, rejecting the regime's demands to take control over the Strait of Hormuz in coordination with Oman.
Would you accept a short-term deal that allows Iran and Oman to control the strait? And would they have to open it immediately, or would you be open to that happening over a period of time?
No, the strait's going to be open to everybody.
And who would control it?
International waters. Nobody's going to control it. We're going to watch over it. We'll watch over it, but nobody's going to control it.
ABC News senior political correspondent Rachel Scott there. The rioting continues outside Delaney Hall ICE facility in Newark, New Jersey this morning, and tensions were on the rise when a trash truck driver early this morning was blocked from going down the street. Video shows that driver getting out of the truck and losing it on the protesters.
So I go to jail. If I hit y'all, go to jail, right? Come on. What's wrong with y'all, man? Come on, man.
Those protesters cleared the way for the guy, let him go through. They're still out there, though, and 3 people have been arrested. A Tennessee lawmaker receiving her punishment for standing on top of her desk in a tight white dress in protest over the redistricting vote. Here's News 2's Bob Mueller.
State Senator Charlene Oliver received a letter saying she had been removed from multiple committees and reimbursements for travel and food are now restricted. Oliver responded to the letter saying in part, quote, "The actions I took on May 7th were not a violation of decorum. When the rules of the chamber are used to protect the powerful and silence the marginalized, standing on that desk is the least I can do."
Oliver also complaining that the letter misspelled her name. She said, "Next time, spell my name right." Market Numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. Just after the opening bell here in the Dow Jones Industrial, starting out 285 lower. The NASDAQ, however, is gaining 31. The S&P 500 index is down just a fraction. That is the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis for Contours LLC. Friends, if you have used a GLP-1 weight loss drug, you've seen, of course, what the scale can do. But what about the mirror? You know, that could be a completely different story. Sunken cheeks and sagging skin. You know, they call that Ozempic face, and at Contours, well, they see it every single day. And they use specialized red light waves and red light technology to restore that firmness, restore that elasticity, and get you that youthful glow back. No needles, no pain, and no downtime. Start with a facial for just $99 or add a belly buster special for just $149. Now, for a total refresh, ask about the Dan Mandis Makeover. You can buy a belly buster package and get a facial package for free. That is $1,500 in savings. So come on and get that glow back before summertime. Book right now, 615-236-9960. You can always find them online at contoursllc.com. And don't forget about the Dan Mandis Makeover. Buy a belly buster package and get a facial package for free. $1,500 in savings. 615-236-9960. 615-236-9960. ContoursLLC.com. Contours in Franklin. Results you can see. What have you got to lose but inches? Hey, if you need new appliances for your kitchen, you only need to go to one place, my place, D.T. McCall's. Check them out. They have extended their Memorial Day savings spectacular through June 3rd. Now, they've already got everyday low prices, but with their Memorial Day savings event extended to June 3rd, it gets even better. You need a refrigerator? Check them out, dtmccalls.com. You can find them online or in store. They've got, again, great prices, great selection as well, and outstanding customer service. I've been a client of DT McCall's for a long time. I've got multiple appliances from DT McCall's in my home. This is a great company. They've got 5 locations across Middle Tennessee: Carthage, Cookeville, Lebanon, Lafayette, and Franklin. So you need an appliance, you need furniture, you need something for your garage, your office space at home. DT McCall's is my place to go. Tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out, dtmccalls.com, or one of their 5 locations across Middle Tennessee. Again, Carthage, Cookeville, Lebanon, Lafayette, and Franklin. dtmccalls.com.
It's a crash eastbound on 24 in the Whites Creek area past Old Hickory Boulevard North. It's on the right shoulder. 40 east, the westbound side, make that I-40 east, the westbound off-ramp to eastbound I-24. Say that 3 times. At the eastern split, it's a crash in the off-ramp area. Hermitage, you've got a crash at Central Pike, east of Earhart Road, and then another one in East Nashville on Woodland Street at South 5th. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. There it is.
Is this Speed Racer?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Kind of? Oh, of course. It's got the thumpity thump. Did you hear that Joan had a thing for Speed Racer?
I'm not shocked.
Can I ask a question? How is it that nobody's making fun of Joan for having the hots for a cartoon, and a Japanese one at that, but everybody had a problem with me having a thing with the Wicked Witch of the West?
All right, I'll throw myself in the fire there. My first cartoon crush was Wonder Woman as a young man.
I think a lot of the problems that we have in this country comes from dude's first crushes being Lola Bunny from Space Jam.
Lolo Bunny?
Lola Bunny.
Lola Bunny from Space Jam.
I was a kid when that movie came out, and that was never on my radar.
I think it sparked a furry craze that we're still
dealing with today.
I do.
Now I get it.
And it was all implemented by the birds that aren't real.
So, who did the Speed Racer theme and put thumpity thumps behind it?
Some dude on YouTube.
Oh, really? Okay. He's gonna get me kicked off of Spotify again?
Nah.
Which happened again, by the way.
You guys,
Sam.
it happened to you too?
Again, Sam.
I'm constantly getting kicked off Spotify, and Mason knows the rules.
What's that?
Don't play stuff that's going to get us kicked off Spotify. Like, that's the only rule.
Yeah,
there's only one rule.
I mean, theoretically, you only have one job.
Like, just
don't get me kicked off Spotify.
Edit that stuff out. I hate Spotify. I'm not a fan. I'm not impressed with it.
Well, you know what? I don't like the fact that I feel like I'm being singled out as like the guy that keeps getting kicked off of Spotify.
I didn't see this latest email, so I don't know.
Are you getting emails from corporate too?
Yes,
dude. I'm like, what do you? The only time
they're sending emails to like the boss and everything.
I never get like a pat on the back from corporate. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
They never check in to see how I'm doing.
It's never how's Chris's show going. It's what is Chris's show doing.
Yeah, it's like, Chris, you had a great show today. I never get that.
You all just need to fly under the radar. Nobody cares from corporate that people like me and Sam exist.
That's true.
Who are you again?
Yeah.
Quiet down, Jane. Employee 45892.
Exactly.
And in all fairness to the producers, is those emails say it may contain material that may get the segment of the podcast taken down.
So, to your point, Chris, is it? Corporate corporate will never come to, and this is true, and this is Sam's doing. Sam, this is where I compliment you. Corporate will never come to us and say, hey, you know what, morning show? Your whatevers are up like 45% year over year. Congratulations, man. What are you doing? No, they'll never do that. They'll say, hey, you played a hip-hop version. You played a hip-hop version of the theme to Speed Racer so that it'd get your news girl going on. And
your news girl.
And therefore...
The news gal.
I am employee 876543.
So, therefore, you're getting kicked off of Spotify. You know what I mean? Like, they focus on the negative.
It's always one. We'll post 1,000 Spotify episodes, but it's like, what is your issue? What is your problem? I'm sorry.
What is your major malfunction?
Whatever.
Second Full Metal Jacket reference today.
Yep. Good.
Apple Music, they never yell at me. The Apple podcast platform.
Yeah, you know what? I think actually Facebook has they're not messing with us either these days, are they? Like, I haven't been kicked off of Facebook in a while.
No, it's Spotify and YouTube.
The digital Nazis.
Yeah, the digital Nazis. Corporate, they should say, they're doing some really brilliant stuff over there. What did we get kicked off for this time, Sam? Do you even know?
I was about to say, the previous email had to do with May the 4th on Star Wars.
Oh, yeah, you were playing all this. And you know what? You know what's hilarious? That's the same thing I got in trouble for, too.
Yeah.
What's that?
Star Wars, because it was stupid Mason had to do Star Wars music, even though I didn't even want to acknowledge it because it's a crap series.
Do you know what's going to be great?
Nobody enjoys.
Do you know what's going to be great? What's going to be great is if we actually get kicked off of Spotify for this segment and they ask, what exactly did you play? And I would have to admit, we played a hip hop version of the Speed Racer theme. I did that. Listen. That's what corporate will do. It'll be stunned silence.
Yeah.
What the heck are you doing on the morning shows in Nashville, Mandis?
I thought they would follow that up with, did that think how you think it was going to go?
Dan used to do that to me all the time when he was the boss. He'd be like, how do you think your show went today? And I'm like, oh, crap.
You knew something was coming.
I thought it went good until you said that.
That is every PD's little secret weapon. It's like, how do you think it went today?
I would just flip it back and be like, how do you think it went?
Oh, you don't want to hear what I thought. You know what I mean? I would just like to have fun. But in kindness and fairness, I never really did that to you. Probably should have, actually. I'm just kidding. By the way, Joan, I was just kidding about, what did I call you? News gal? Is that what I called you?
It's too late.
Yeah.
It's too late. People are already responding to it.
We should get somebody.
Oh, are they? The super text line responding?
In the YouTube chat.
What are they saying?
If Fox has their news babes, WTN can have their news gals.
That's exactly right.
Who made that decision?
Somebody needs to carve it into wood, and we can hang it back there in the news closet.
Can somebody tell me, please, why is it that Matt Murphy in the afternoon, you walk into the newsroom and it smells like wood shop in there, and somebody for some fan of the afternoon show is carving like things for Matt and for Jackson
and Ken.
And Ken.
Yeah.
And I have not gotten any wood carvings. I would love a piece of that wood.
Pause.
All right, so just so we're clear, I did that on purpose.
Pay attention to something else, right?
Sure he did. Sure he did.
You're not trying to obfuscate from the fact that you're complaining about the Speed Racers theme song.
So all I'm saying is that, that like the afternoon show is getting all these wood carvings from some wood maker in our audience.
Some whittler.
They call them carpenters, Dan.
Oh, is that what it is?
Wood maker.
A wood maker.
Gosh.
So some carpenter in the audience keeps making nice things for the afternoon show. Nothing for me.
That wood doesn't grow on trees. It's made.
Oh, my goodness.
TB texted and he said, how do you feel about news wench, Joe?
Yeah, well, Joe says Joan has the voice of a Disney princess, and you guys are extremely lucky to work near her. Not even with me, but near me.
Well, that's because we made sure there was plenty of glass in between our studios.
Bulletproof at that.
Yeah.
Bulletproof at that.
That's
so,
what Robin used to call the fart glass that kept her away from Howard Stern.
Fart glass.
Fart glass?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I can see it.
Do you know only one current WTN host in the studio right now has actually lit up the studio, and it's not me.
No, only one has admitted it.
I've never done it.
It happened. Look,
I was so offended when you said
you
you
13 years, and you're going to tell me that you have never. You have never run roughshod in here.
Farts, rose petals. Don't, honestly.
Okay, I may have farted, but there were rose petals is what it was.
And I told you that in confidence, and you brought it on the air. Was it because it was hilarious. Because I don't know what I ate. It must have been like Chipotle with chopsticks or something.
Uh-huh.
And I was lighting it up in here. And then our sales manager Allison was giving like some clients a tour, and they came right up to the window, and I'm just thinking to myself,
Please
oh God,
don't come in.
Oh God, no. And I think I even like turned my mic on to make it seem like I was going to do something during a commercial break. So
See, that's funny. Woodmaker, isn't that a masseuse?
Oh.
0093. What?
If you're Robert Kraft.
Oh. Okay. All right.
My goodness.
Whatevs. I don't know why do we go down? Why does this segment go into the blue humor?
I ask myself that all the time.
Why does that happen?
Oh, Captain, my Captain, we follow your lead.
There's nothing blue about this show. Except for this segment. And I know what a lot of people are thinking. I'm not going to do it. Anyway, so there you go.
What are you going to do?
Nothing. I'm not going to take the bait. And I know that here's what Chris is going to do. He's going to sit there in silence until I do the joke about being blue. And there's nothing blue about this show.
Chris, can't you see how blue Dan is? Quit baiting him.
What joke are you talking about?
You know. I'm not going to do it, though.
Okay.
All right. Hey, what do you got coming up, Chris?
Well, we're going to talk about the fraud stuff that's going on, the anti-Nick Shirley Act that has passed the House in California. We'll talk about Hassan Piker in Cuba, and we'll also talk about the Cuba invasion that feels imminent, as well as Iran updates and more. We got a lot to get to.
Change Jones' name to Trixie from Speed Racer.
Oh, okay. Do that.
Did you ever watch Speed Racer?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
No.
No?
No, I'd stay away from Japanese cartoons.
Why?
Just feels wrong.
Why?
Well,
what is wrong about a Japanese cartoon? Please tell me.
I just don't really want to support those guys after Pearl Harbor.
You can. I mean, I'll say the underlying conspiracy theory is that they're meant to make Americans gay.
There is that too.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, the anime.
So guys were supposed to be attracted to Speed Racer?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, maybe not that cartoon, but here recently, they do some weird stuff.
There is some weird stuff in anime.
Weirder than the Teletubbies?
Way weirder.
If the Teletubbies secretly have tentacles.
Dude, I'll show you some stuff.
Yeah.
So anime is designed
well,
to...
don't get it confused with manga, okay? Those are two different forms of Japanese cartoonery.
Okay.
So
it's sick stuff, Dan.
Some of it really is.
How much time do you spend? Have you never been on the internet?
Not looking at anime. And clearly because I'm very straight.
You got to check out Japanese Twitter.
Oof.
Japanese Twitter?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're actually upset about the auto translate feature because the Japanese are saying that it's making the Japanese look bad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because Americans are infiltrating Japanese Twitter.
But there is also that overlap area of out of all the Asian nations, I would say that, Japan's the most, friendly to America. Maybe South Korea, as far as business and stuff goes.
I like Best Korea.
Best Korea? Okay.
The values overlap. They're very anti-immigration over there. They make a great whiskey.
By the way, people are finishing there's nothing blue on this show or about this show.
Mm-hmm.
People are finishing the joke on the super text line.
What joke?
Yeah, Dan, what joke?
No joke. Whatevs. By the way, I have also triggered 4175, who has sent me not one, not two, but 3 very long text messages.
Oh, you're getting Israel money?
Well,
why didn't you loop me in on the email chain?
They cut out my bonuses, so yeah, I had to. I got that Netanyahu money, man.
Okay,
he approves.
Like, I understand the frustration with AIPAC meddling in elections, and I think that there's room for a nuanced conversation there.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at Trump's endorsement record, 8 for 8 on governors, 9 for 9 on senators, 101 for 101 on U.S. House seats.
Right.
Like, okay, where else did AIPAC dump $20 million into a race? And then you look at Ken Paxton. He overcame a $70 million John Cornyn deficit.
9-1.
Yeah. So why couldn't Massey overcome 20?
Well, and here,
I think it's the Trump endorsement.
Well, I think it's a Trump endorsement, but I also think Massey ticked off a lot of Trump supporters in a very conservative district. So in Kentucky. So yeah, I think that there's a lot at play there. I think Massey, I don't want to get into Massey again, but I think that he made a lot of mistakes when he turned into an anti-Trumper, which is essentially what he did.
Well, and it's so frustrating. There was an interview with him over on Meet the Press over the weekend, and Kristen Welker's like, "Are you going to name the names of the Epstein clients?" And he's like, "I will, maybe in the coming weeks or months."
No, he won't.
And it's like, what do you mean? Like, okay, if you know the names and you are so hell-bent on the truth and you're using it as a political bludgeon against President Trump, spill the beans.
Yeah. Shut up and just spill the beans.
That goes for all of them. That goes for Ro Khanna. That goes for Nancy Mace. That goes any of these individuals. Like, if you know, and oh my gosh, if only you knew, it's like, then tell us.
Who was it that did that? There was one lawmaker, a Republican. It wasn't Marjorie Taylor Greene. It was somebody who said,
it was Nancy Mace.
Was it Nancy Mace? Where she's like, "Oh, if you only knew the names." And I think we both lost it because it was like, enough with the if you only knew the names. You do, so spill it.
Yeah.
And
you were just as complicit in the cover-up you're claiming the Trump administration is in if you're not willing to say anything.
So do you think whoever the woodworker is that is making wood stuff for the afternoon show, will they make us something on the morning show so that, the studio can smell like wood shop? Because I like the smell of wood shop, personally.
What's that?
I don't even know.
Deflation.
It's what?
Did you say deflation?
Yeah.
Okay.
You got to work on your sound effects.
Yeah. That's going back to the blue joke. Anyway, so I want to know from Matt, if Matt is listening, who is making you the woodworking stuff? Because I think that'd be cool. You know what we can do? We can have whoever the woodworking person, we can have him do a piece of wood, and it would be Joan dressed up like Trixie from Speed Racer. We could do that. We could.
Okay.
Carpenter.
Whatever.
Whatever those wood guys like to be called.
Those wood guys. I would love a piece of that wood. 8:53 on Super Talk. All right, Trixie, Jane, whatever your name is in the newsroom.
Shangang.
Employee 65931.
What is coming up in the newscast at 9?
Oh, man. A federal judge has just made a ruling on mail ballots. We've got that coming up here at 9 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, thank you. 8:53, Generator Supercenter. Dan Mandis here. You know how many ways we can lose power, right? You've got your ice storms, your snow, your tornadoes. There's one surefire way to get that power back on. That is a backup generator from the Generator Supercenter. Now, they are the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. They feature turnkey installation, certified electricians and plumbers, maintenance and service after the install, and a whole lot more. Now, let me tell you basically how a backup generator works. The power goes out in your neighborhood. The power in your home turns right back on thanks to your backup generator from my friends at the Generator Supercenter. So if you're one of the many families talking about a backup generator these days, talk to the pros at the Generator Supercenter. By the way, another reason to love these folks, their generators are made right here in the good old US of A. They'll never leave you in the dark. Financing is available, and they are waiting for your call. Again, tell them I told you to reach out. 615-879-1952. 615-879-1952. Generator Supercenter of Nashville.com. Am I supposed to know what this is?
This is you getting kicked off Spotify.
The sound of me getting kicked off Spotify.
Sounds nice.
Blue ain't your color.
Anyway, so yeah, we got 2.5. Oh, so I was talking about the woodworking that the Murphy Show is getting. Look at this thing. This is very cool, and I got to describe it for radio. But it says Action Jackson, Reaction Jackson, and then a bunch of numbers. I don't know what the numbers are.
Y2J, J Willie. It's all of his nicknames that Matt Murphy has given him.
Oh, is that what that is?
So what nicknames would you want on your placard, Dan?
I don't know if I have a nickname. Do I have any nicknames around here? Yeah, only you guys would know because y'all talk about me behind my back. So
I don't know about nicknames, but Well Dan is a great...
oh, yeah. You know what?
It's not a catchphrase because it's not yours. But.
And do you know what the great thing is that if Senator Blackburn actually is the governor, then I've been well danned by the governor of the state of Tennessee.
If she gets elected, I would like a formal plaque from her office.
A formal plaque from her office. Oh, my gosh. How funny would it be? I could have her sign it.
And the seal of the state on
with
it.
With the state seal.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I don't even think she understands how well Dan just exploded on the station.
I don't think I'm getting anything from Marsha Blackburn.
No, I don't think so.
Said I was a Monty Fritz guy.
Oh, I know what you're...
big hang up is what you're getting.
That was the end of that. Yeah, the last time I talked to her, I got a hang up.
Do you know what I know? I actually know what you're going to get from Marsha Blackburn.
It's a middle finger.
A not call back.
I'm never going to get an interview with her again.
That's it.
And then I said I was probably voting for. I am. I'm voting for Monty Fritz in the primary.
Yeah.
But so that's the end of my luck with the governor of Tennessee.
You never know. She may come on your show.
I'll support whoever the Republican nominee is, but in the primary, I'm a Fritz guy.
Well, Chris.
Well, Dan.
Whatever.
Is that wrong to say that? Or you're not supposed to say that?
What?
That you're not going to vote for Marsha Blackburn?
No, you can vote for whoever you want.
I will.
It's a free country.
It's a free country.
I might vote twice.
You could. But you identify. Here's what you do: identify as an illegal alien, and you vote as many times as you want.
I was thinking about doing that for Spencer Pratt in the L.A. mayor's race.
I would love to do that. You know what? If I still lived in California, I would figure out a way to. You know what?
You probably are still voting in California.
No.
Well, not you, but Dan Mandis is still voting in California.
Some guy named Dan Mandis probably voting in my name in California
via mail.
There you go.